Like,
yeah.
Where's the lighter fluid, bro?
No, we can. I'm just saying for like the pre-show. You know what I mean?
We're doing
like
pre-shows
we'll do the intro too. But yeah. Like this stuff can be cut or whatever, but just to prep for the intro. But like no, so like literally it speaks to just the volume of people that comes through and like goes to Universal. Like it is insane. Like they have crazy attendance, which is a awesome thing.
And that's one thing I was saying. The only thing.
But look, I like literally it's crazy. Like Epcot felt more crowded than Universal, but it was like more spacious. Like it was like way bigger. The park felt way bigger, but it still somehow felt more crowded and more like even claustrophobic.
You see, that's the funny thing was that on Saturday, I was saying the layout was actually pretty good. Like I was able to find my way around and remember things and landmarks within the first loop.
Universal, right?
And Islands of Adventure, yeah.
Yeah.
But, and this is the park couldn't help this, just the crowds. Yeah. Like it was hard to, get around fast enough for me being a fast walker.
Yeah. Dude.
But even then, I was like, they can't help that. Their park is popular, And then going on to Universal the next day, it was a mix of the two. It was like you could tell that Islands is a more popular park overall, because we went to Universal and honestly, we had a great time. We saw random experiences happen, and we saw the Blues Brothers twice performing, and then just driving around the park. There's more open, but also less popular, so it was just easier to just get around.
Studio side is such a different vibe from Islands. It really is. That's the best way that I could say it.
I have some things to say about it once we get to it in the recap, but
yeah,
it's definitely the studio side is not as good as I remember.
It's a bit tame.
In fact, I was surprised that Spider-Man was even in. I was like, wow, even Islands has Spider-Man, so it's got no reason to go.
I mean,
Transformers,
the occasional Gringotts ride, Mummy ride, maybe a Rip Ride Rocket ride, but other than that,
if I learn the codes for the songs,
yeah, no, I think I don't remember. I used to know a couple of them, but I don't remember
because Gavin's speaker didn't even work.
Dude, I one of the Hulk trains, the speakers weren't working.
On like a mini marathon. Welcome to the High Rollers.
Welcome back.
We're already talking. We can't get over Florida. We got to go back already. It's funny because it's to the point where me and Gavin are already talking. He's like, hey, yeah, he's like, when's a good time again? He's talking Cedar Point now too. This was the trip that made him an enthusiast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about it just every day.
But back here with West.
NRC?
We had Semi last week. Thank you for joining in episode 4.
If you're listening.
But episode 5, lots of news again. Just a lot of random stuff.
We've got a loaded cast, especially with the Florida recap.
Exactly. So we have news on top of we just came back from Florida. And man, what a trip. That's all I gotta say. The rankings have shifted.
That is one of my favorite trips that I've done.
Wow.
And that's my last trip before I turn 21. Which brings me to today is West's birthday.
Yes it is. The 16th. Now people know of December. Care about Zodiac, Sagittarius. I really don't care.
2 Sagittarius.
Yep.
4 days, December 20th.
Yeah. Another year, another cycle around the sun. I mean, I don't know when I'm really gonna start feeling it. I don't think you feel it ever at the number, at the actual time. But I'm just happy to be healthy, and I'm happy for this year because this is the year I officially came back to everything with coasters. And what a hell of a year. We're going to get to that in the last...
Yeah. Next cast.
Yeah, next cast.
Next cast is going to be loaded, too.
Yeah. For...
End of year recap.
Who knows what we're going to do. It's just, you're going to hear our official rankings. Our hottest of takes. Even covering some takes from people that we see on Instagram. Hell, we might even ask you guys for the 2 people that listen to the cast. Who knows? So, who knows what happens, man. Yeah, we got some Skittles here. You know what? If you're listening on YouTube, just comment. What is your stoner snack of choice? Just throw it in the comments, or let us know on Instagram. Which follow us there if you just found us on YouTube. At High Rollers DMV.
And we're also on Spotify.
Yeah, if you do prefer that and you just ended up finding us on YouTube.
You can find us at the High Rollers on Spotify.
Yeah, right now we pre-gamed a bit per usual. Not even pre-game. We literally had a bong before. But
yeah,
we cooled down with some B-dubs. Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah. And now we got some wild berry Skittles.
Yeah. And now this is some more of the Billy Cumber.
Mm-hmm.
You got actual nugs this time, and it's not it's not literal. Just a bag of shakes. We're good. We're good here. Another pearl from RC. Man, so let's get into the news because we got a lot of it. Where do you even want to start? Because
wait, were we talking about Florida though?
I thought we could do that after. Because the news we can kind of cut through.
True.
There's only a few topics that you can really tangent on, I feel like, looking at the itinerary. But who knows? We were already tangenting looking at the Minions part. Let's get that out of the way. So Minions Alley is coming to Universal because Despicable Me, Villain Con, Minion... What a name. What are these names for these amusement rides sometimes? Despicable Me, Villain Con, Minion Blast. It's being added in 2023 Universal Studios.
I've got some opinions about that.
Really?
Yes.
So
actually,
I really haven't looked at it. What kind of ride is it?
I don't believe that's known. I think that they've announced it as a shooter like dark ride. Like I don't think it's like known like details yet.
No, I remember that a little bit.
I don't think details are out, but I'm just like theorizing on what I think it might be.
So this kind of goes on to what I'm gonna get at with the Uni side, the Universal Studios side of Universal's main park. Is it feels like they almost recycle because they have Men in Black, but
yeah, but it's outdated.
That's what I was saying.
Ish, I love Men in Black. That's something I always ride when I go to that park, but it is outdated.
But like, reason I bring that up is like, you have Men in Black, and then say this is better. Unfortunately, we have to ride a Minions ride for a shooter. Then why ever ride Men in Black?
Yeah, well, eventually that'll get replaced.
But then it brings
we'll use the space.
Then it brings to my point of Transformers and Spider-Man are really similar. Literally like screen-based 3D glasses.
Parks, though.
Exactly.
That's why, yeah.
But
and then
Spider-Man is so much better.
Well, that's the thing. I love Spider-Man even more too. But Transformers was the new IP that they ended up reusing the same concept and just putting it in the other park, But that was a new IP when they did that because that came after Spider-Man. But they just used the same concept. It just so happens to be that the older ride Spider-Man is way better.
It's so crazy to think too because Spider-Man as an IP is split into like 3 different companies. Disney has him, or technically he doesn't. Sony has him. Universal technically doesn't have him anymore. That's why it's hard for them to make the movies.
It's funnel heavy.
Yep, we're getting that ad rush for sure. But this is happening. Another family attraction for the park. I mean, you can't really hate on that. But I do wonder if they'll theme that little area because right across will be the I think it's a Minion.
Minion Mayhem, right? Did you get on that? You did not get on that? Okay.
I try to avoid Minions.
Okay.
But maybe next time because, we'll be back.
But let me tell you. So the way it works is like you move into like a showroom first and then you it's like a theater ride. And then you move into like the actual like theater ride part. Okay. So that's how they move the crowd. They just move it in big chunks. I imagine with this shooter ride, they might do it the same way, where they do like a big like pre-show type thing first, and then the ride room. Like, you know how they do Plants vs. Zombies, where you just queue up and it's the big... Listen,
Yeah.
You do the big, and then there's the big ride room. But the way Universal would do it is they queue you up, then you go into a big showroom, then you go into the ride room. I think they may do something like that.
So I'm thinking...
And then it's like a kind of like some sort of like motion simulator maybe thing, where you have like you're in some sort of vehicle or something, and you have a blaster. Just the way, like the same way they do it at Plants vs. Zombies, actually.
I don't remember exactly how they group in like Soarin', but I know at least in Full Art Magic and Magic Kingdom, where it's like they put a whole bunch of people and then funnel them into a theater.
Well, I was just at Soarin'.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Yeah,
because I know I remember they put everyone essentially on different levels, but like they group everyone.
Yeah,
they group everyone into a big theater.
That's definitely something about Disney. They did a great job with that on their rides. We'll talk about that later, but
they're one of the standards, you know. I mean, up until recently, but like
I actually had a great time at Disney.
Yeah, we actually stepped foot in a Disney park, which surprisingly, I think we've brought up Disney every single time.
I know.
We've casted it and we say we're not a Disney cast.
Why is this happening? Why is this happening?
You got the Cosmic Rewind credit, so. And pleasantly surprised, basically, the spoiler alert on that, for the headline for the review, but we're gonna get to that.
But that's my thing with the Minion ride. I think it's gonna be something like Plants vs. Zombies at Carowinds, which is closing, right?
Yeah. I hope it's better than that.
It's already closed.
I hope it's better than that. Because
I would imagine so at Universal. But I think something like that concept, but like on a Universal level. You know what I mean?
Sure.
What do we got next?
You think here? Might as well get this out of the way. Maverick Heartline Rule found 80 minutes from Cedar Point.
Okay, but like that's kind of like so shitpost too, though, because like literally they oh my god, they went on Google Maps or Earth and renamed it the Doozy Mecca.
Yes.
That's so. That's why like
place
this
of
community,
praise.
bro. This community is coaster enthusiasts are just I don't understand.
So yeah, if you are not in the loop, hey, shout outs to In the Loop podcast. But if you are not caught up, the Heartline Roll that used to be on Maverick at one point, for at least
the original layout, and there's one person that wrote it. I can't remember who.
I think one of the original designers wrote it, and he said this is too much.
Was it Shoki?
No, it wasn't Shoki.
I don't fucking know.
He didn't work with Intamin. I would love to see him work with Intamin, but he's never. At least I don't.
But I know, it was one of the designers. But yeah, and he said it was way too intense for people.
Yeah, so. It's like us doozies could ride it, but maybe even some doozies couldn't take it. No, I'm just kidding. But it was too much forces on people and I think the train too. It was a combination of the two. So it was taken off and replaced with the S terminal we have now. So you might know that. But we all just found out about 2 weeks ago. It's sitting in I'm not even sure where it is. There's some random plant or firm.
Yeah, it's like just some off-site storage or something.
Yeah.
And in a field.
I'm wondering how long it's been there, if it's been there ever since, because man. A lot of people have gone there already and taken close-ups. Be careful if you are deciding to go there. Pretty easy to find if you know roller coaster spaces that you might be able to. It's pretty popular, but be careful because there are some people saying when they're going there that there are people saying that they're trespassing or not. Yeah. Who knows? It's cool otherwise because it's like at least 16, 18 feet of track, man. That was on Maverick. What we know today. Now, unfortunately, it's kind of just
on it. You know?
Yeah,
like it's pretty awesome.
Unfortunately, it's now not in the best shape. I mean, it's sitting there in the overgrowth. Even trying to remove it now would be kind of a little bit of a maintenance, a little bit of a task. But yeah, I say, just like how they did the Facebook group for Area 51, let's storm the Doozy Mecca. like 200, 300 doozies. Pick up that has to be a few tons, like at least a few 10 tons. Pick up that tons of steel and just take it. Let's put it, and let's
just don't give it to the roller coaster.
I was about to say let's give it to a museum. But I'm not sure you should give it to the roller coaster museum just yet.
No,
until we figure out their motives.
If you know, you know.
That could be a whole news topic on its own.
But
we're gonna. If you want to catch up on any of that, just look up Coaster Talk Podcast.
Yeah, that's where you can find.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, that was a little quick one there. So, Knott's Berry Farm is changing the chaperone policy for the winter months. What are your thoughts about that? So, they recently changed the chaperone policy at the beginning of the Halloween haunt.
Yeah.
All that stuff because of that one night where there were a multitude of fights happening and then rumors spreading that there were shootings happening in the park and basically mass chaos, as you can assume. So, they introduced one of the first parks actually in the major chains to introduce the chaperone policy, and it seems like ever since every park
followed suit.
Yeah.
Especially with the haunt events.
So now, going into their winter months, and they're a 365 park, right?
Yes.
They're saying, hey,
they may not be 365. They might have some weekdays actually that are closed.
I mean, I'm gonna be smart, honestly,
but they do year-round operations. Might not be quite 365 though.
And this is hidden. So, yeah, they are getting rid of their chaperone policy that they had, where you had to be with someone 21 and older. Couldn't really be groups. It had to be that one person after a specific. I think it was maybe the latest was 8.
You know, honestly, I mean, I think it could be a good thing for the park's attendance.
I mean, both sides. I always look at it in both sides because I remember when I was becoming an enthusiast, going to the parks, alone or getting dropped off was a big thing of mine. So I know that there were enthusiasts that this did hurt, and now that they are changing it, and okay. So based on the positive trends resulting from the current chaperone policy and improved security protocols, we are modifying the chaperone policy to be in effect on Saturdays only, while being prepared to make additional future policy adjustments as needed. Please check knots.com for latest updates. So it's only on Saturdays.
Yeah, which I can understand that.
I mean,
everyone's out of school. They want to make sure that things stay chill.
Which, this was a good segue because now, let's go on. I guess what are your...
They want to improve, customer relations and stuff. The view of the park.
Because a similar situation happened at Carowinds.
Yeah.
And Carowinds, apparently, this is another news topic here as we're segueing over here, received up to 13 grants. Or no, they received 13 grants of up to $560,000 to improve their safety program. With new and innovative technology, all that stuff. So, I'm wondering if we're going to see this Cedar Fair wide. Just these mass improvements across all of them. Because this is the second Cedar Fair park to really go out of their way and say something that they're making these improvements. Granted, these are 2 Cedar Fair parks that have had issues. So
it may not be chain wide. Maybe Kings Island gets it too.
Yeah, I could see KI and Cedar Point. Yeah. I can see the biggest Cedar Fair.
That's
parks.
Really it. Yeah. The big guys.
I mean, maybe Kings Dominion.
No, I don't think
maybe
so.
for their haunt specifically.
Maybe
because their haunt gets big.
But that would also kind of hint at the fact that Kings Dominion is not one of the big guys.
Yeah.
Although we are getting a lot of stuff with Jungle Eggs, so we'll see.
I would say Kings Dominion was the experiment when it came to...
Fell off after 305 flopped. All I'm saying.
Unfortunately, we had to take that hit for such an amazing coaster.
Yep, I'm not complaining. Insane ride.
And then we got another hit
6
with Twisted Timbers. So but yeah, I was going on what I was saying. Potentially Kings Dominion, and along with being Carowinds, obviously, or no, excuse me, Canada's Wonderland, not Carowinds.
I don't know. Do
Being
they
that
have
experiment.
issues, though?
Yeah, they're the most popular park in Cedar Fair chain in North America that gets attendance wise. It's one of those parks that
do they have
always
issues to where they would need to do that?
I think they used to, but they're not as bad as like the U.S. parks.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I'm tripping. Like either way, they're still gonna get it because you want to have better security. But they don't have issues here like we do in the U.S.
But the reason I bring up is the Jungle X. You know, we were I wonder if when it came to theming, was King's Dominion the prototype?
Yeah.
Because now we're seeing it happen in KI, and now we're seeing it happen in the Carowinds.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Positive signs for the Cedar Fair parks going forward. It's good to see them doing that.
Yeah, because
diving into that realm.
At least I really appreciate, at least now, I really appreciate doing a lot of other things besides, you know, I love coasters, but then when there's long lines, when there's, you know, you can't help the busy day. Having other stuff, to, you know, to be around or just potentially do.
And just like the charm of the successful theming, where it like really is immersive-ish. It looks good.
Late. And that's when.
Oh, it needs to be right there.
Yeah. Gosh. But I'm really curious to see what these two parks do exactly. I can see them getting the evolved metal detectors that way. Like Kennywood has, you know, the AI detection. And basically just stepping up to the top of the line standards. So
I think Holiday World does that too. Great Adventure even.
Yeah, so I can see that stuff going to at least those two first, you know how it works.
Here we go.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think about that. You know what? Let's go with some standing now. Six Flags Fiesta Texas adding dueling Skyline family coaster.
Jeffrey Siebert.
The time or the day Jeffrey gets on the cast, I'm gonna have to hold RC back, man.
He is a genius. Oh my gosh.
And then
the teasing and everything.
The conversation from this too, because people were throwing shade at other Six Flags parks. They're like, you know, they're throwing basically shade at Six Flags, saying, oh, why are Six Fiesta Texas getting all the love? They're basically the new flagship park. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's Jeffrey Siebert, man. It's not like Six Flags could tell them, but no one's really stepping out and really making the efforts like Jeffrey is to make a damn good amusement park. I mean, I think really it starts from there. I'm not calling off the other park presidents, but
he's the heart of that park.
Yeah, things are moving like at that park. Like that park is a park I'm excited to look at. Like
I'm so glad I got to go back in November and see it firing on all cylinders. I mean, that is such a good park.
But this, I'm not sure how long it's going to be. It's definitely a family coaster, and it's a Skyline.
Yeah.
They've apparently improved their, where it's not going to be as rough or rickety. Yeah. I really haven't been on one, so I'm excited to try it. And apparently it's going to have a cool light package like they were showing off at IAPA. So, all that teasing paying off, like you said. And, I mean, another reason to go back and just check that out. And I'll support Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Standing. I mean, I'm going to try to go to Texas.
I think that's got to be the play whenever that opens. Plus, we got the tilt coaster, so make a big Texas run.
Oh yeah, so that is true. Because how far is Austin from?
I want to say it's like 5 hours. I could be overshooting it though, but I'd drive it. Because we could do San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Austin, do all of it. Or do 2 separate trips, either way. Texas is great, really. And Buc-ee's when you're driving around.
I was introduced to Buc-ee's And I'm literally roughing all Buc-ee's right now.
You and me both.
I got the Buc-ee's hoodie, the Buc-ee's beanie, and we'll be wearing the Buc-ee's blanket like a cape right now, but a little too toasty in the hot box for that. But Fiesta, Texas, keep doing good things, man. Again. All right, so this is quick news. You see that what happened to the Carowinds Highway sign?
Yeah.
So apparently, if you got in, I don't even know what time it was. It looked like it had to be up just a bit after park opening, at least. But oh, I'm good, bro. These are my last ones. But if you were on your way to Carowinds, you may have been stopped at almost a standstill potentially until there was a detour, because the sign to Carowinds, even if you weren't on your way there, this had to be annoying, fell on the highway. It collapsed. I assumed that there was no injuries. Hopefully there wasn't, and if there were, they're okay. But hopefully you got basically close to walk-ons on Fury and stuff, because it was really hard for people to get the Carowinds, I assume. But yeah, that was crazy. So finally, we got an opening date for Super Nintendo World here in North America. The first one.
USH, right?
So in Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yep.
Opening in February 17th, 2023.
Oh, it makes me...
Have people that in some groups that have already booked their flights after that announcement.
Well, it's crazy because that's President's Day weekend. That's right after the week after Stumble in Cali.
Exactly.
So it's like, dang. Like,
I have like at least 3 different reasons to go to Cali in February. It's crazy.
Right. Literally.
The Buzz Bar's going. Melon and Coastal Network's trying to go a week after. And then around that time, literally a day after, is the opening of Super Nintendo World.
That's so just...
And they're all close because they're all in LA.
I think top choice is Buzz Bar Stumble, though.
Oh, yeah. It's been
gotta check it out.
way too long since I've been to a Stumble. I gotta go back, man.
Yeah.
And this one sounds insane.
Yeah.
Look what they're planning. Like, they haven't really said much, but the teasers
I know.
have already been, like...
Potentially, ERT at Six Flags Magic Mountain. So...
Man.
I really want to check it out. We'll have to see.
But
that might be our next trip.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts about this? As a gamer myself, I have a few thoughts for Nintendo World.
Like I said, I want to visit. I want to go. I'm very excited for it.
Have you ever really been into Nintendo or Mario or
big on Mario Kart Wii? Yeah.
Mario Kart Wii? That's
Mario
one of the best
Kart
ones.
Wii. That is like one of my favorite games of all time.
So top 3 Mario Karts for me is Wii, Double Dash, and then I have to give it to 8 potentially, but 64 is super close because 64 is...
We're talking Double Dash on the GameCube?
Yes.
Fucking amazing.
Oh man, like that,
you just brought that back to me. That is 1 and 2 right there.
It's so good. Straight. Like they just knew what they were doing. And 8, like, it's good. It's good. It's just it's not sweaty enough.
What about DS?
Okay, DS is 3. Realistically,
there we go.
Objectively, it's 3.
Bro.
But subjectively, I can see other people saying,
"Dude, I still cannot believe I lost my copy of Mario Kart DS."
Bro, those were the craziest.
My sister knows.
I remember I would train just for like field trips and like Boys and Girls Club, just to slap kids.
Yes.
All right. Anyways, yeah. So
you can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, like I'm a pretty big fan of. Well, at least growing up, I was. I'm not like
it's what Test Track should have been.
Yeah,
yes.
Like the rides that they have there. I don't think they're gonna have the Donkey Kong roller coaster. I think that's going to Epic Universe's Super Nintendo World.
Yes,
but I really like that they have differences. They give you reasons to go to each one because I'm not sure. I think there's going to be attractions at this one that won't be at Orlando and vice versa.
Okay, but then once USH opens their coaster, then we go.
Yeah,
that's basically
The thing is, Epic Universe sounds insane, and because They have the Donkey Kong coaster with Super Nintendo World.
So
They
basically, Universal is popping because we got Epic Universe and we got a coaster coming to USH at some point. Like, yeah.
So we're both excited for it. I wanna meet Toad. I wanna see that Bowser statue because that looks incredible.
This is something we need to look at.
Universal Theme Park Creative Division gutted after exit of high-ranking XX.
Yes. So this is something that caught my eye.
Charismatic and foresight, Mike Hightower, president of Universal Creative, and Mike Harrington, vice president, engineering and safety at Universal Studios Florida, are among the executives who have quietly opted to take voluntary early retirement packages.
So look, we lost senior vice president and chief creative officer of Universal Creative who oversaw the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, among other Disney challenging expansions.
Oh.
And the president of Universal Creative. And then we lost vice president of engineering and safety. Like, that's big.
Yeah, I wonder what the reasons for that are. Because they've been on the come up, you know? They've been moving up.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this is very interesting to see two extremely important people
to a company
to Universal Creative leave like this. It is very interesting in the time that they're doing all this expansion.
Yeah.
I remember this whenever we were talking about Universal. So like Pac-Man was saying like this is not good for the future of Universal.
I mean, in theory, it isn't because they're creative. I'm assuming they're creative. Gave the go for Hagrid's, gave the go for Velocicoaster.
I mean, that's the heart of those rides. Like, because there's this one video detailing, Universal Creative's stuff on Velocicoaster on YouTube. You should really check it out. And it was incredible. It really speaks on how amazing Universal Creative is. And to see their team potentially fall apart like this is scary in such a time of expansion.
Now, I am curious if I can get into potential talks. Or get some, not talks, but that'd be great if that was the end goal of all of it. But inklings of how some people that, I don't know if they still work there, but potential engineers on the projects of Velocicoaster, because it's like basically a game of, I know someone who knows someone. Who knows? I might be able to talk to someone who knows something.
I remember
how they feel about this.
One day riding Twisted, there was a guy in a special Velocicoaster jacket that worked on the ride that I was chatting with, but I'm not in contact with him or anything. I remember.
Yeah, it's like I remember like at least in MCN there was a night they were riding Gwazi and they were riding it with one of the main engineers that worked on Velocicoaster. This was just like at least less than a week ago. Yeah. I saw this post and I was like, what? Yeah. I think it was the day I came back from Florida. I'm like, are you serious? I need to be checking these Facebook groups more, man, because sometimes I'll be missing just some crazy things. But I don't realize how much enthusiasts actually be enthusiasts. I'm in Florida. I'm thinking, you guys are, chilling. Nope. Half of the enthusiasts are also in Florida as well. Like, we are much bigger than we think. That's all I got to say. Like, we are
a
big community.
Growing niche.
Yeah. Like,
it's an awesome thing.
At least just being in the hotspots, I can see, all the merch. I can tell people nerding out.
Yeah.
People taking their time in lines to get these pictures.
Yeah.
These memories. So
everyone taking pictures of the Mosasaurus roll. Come on now.
I mean, and I feel like in Orlando or being in any of those in Busch Gardens and stuff, just like they just have to be used to it. Like
it's
if you work
free
there,
publicity. Yeah. It's just gonna keep growing, which is awesome.
But I guess we'll segue on over to Universal Studios Hollywood or Epic Universe. Is progressing, and we got more info on one of the rides coming.
Yeah, the Muck. One
of the coasters coming. Seems to be one of the main entrees.
Is this the Donkey Kong?
No.
It's not the Donkey. Okay.
This is the dueling Mach coaster.
Okay. I'm wondering which area that's going to be in.
I think they're saying it's one of the main areas you walk in. It seems like it has to be. I mean, a dueling coaster sounds like a capacity machine already.
Yeah.
Running 2 trains. 20
They're doing a
minimum each.
lot of work with Mach.
I mean, Mach, that's why people like them. To me, they're boring and mild that actually tries to not be boring and mild.
Well, but so they're doing a lot with Mach, but this is like their first time doing anything with Mach, but then they're going big.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, this is like, Mach has always impressed me because they're like B&M where they should be now. Not just still using cookie cutter elements.
Yeah.
Granted, we're seeing more interesting B&Ms
I mean,
now,
the
but in
updated
terms of
pictures
family models.
Pipeline are very interesting. I don't know if you saw those
So
on Midway Mayhem.
it was so unfortunate because we went to SeaWorld on Thursday. That Friday they put the trains out.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. It's just how those things happen, you know. Like one of the other things I said, just like while you were there, just like things just happen, you know. Don't really expect it. But yeah, in case you guys haven't seen it, I think the rumored name is going to be Starfall Racers.
Okay.
And yeah, I forgot the name of both of them, but I think there's a green side and a golden side.
Okay.
And they're both like long, crazy elements. There's this crazy, basically interlocking loop, but it's almost like they're interlocking dive loops. It's
Wow.
insane. Amusement Insider did a great POV of it. On both sides officially are out now. So you guys want to check that out? Go check out his channel on that. I thought it was very interesting because like I generally, if a coaster is doing it already, it's just like I am much more interested. That is just like so sick to me. It's why I love Dueling Dragons. Heck, it's why I like Lightning Racer, even though people don't like it. It's a polarizing coaster to an extent.
Rip Dueling Dragons.
Rip Dueling Dragons, indeed. Especially when it actually dueled.
Yeah.
Because when those loops went together, that was actually insane. It felt like you were going to run into the other train. That's basically how it felt. Two little 11-year-old me. What an experience. But yeah, that looks... Starfall Racers looks pretty incredible. So go ahead and check that out. What else here? I already basically threw a lot of it here. I think that could be it. Oh no, the last thing is Mission Ferrari potentially opening up finally in the Ferrari World Abu Dhabi.
2014 announced.
It was announced in 2014, built by a Chinese firm, and has been standing but not operating since. Literally, I think this is the ride that basically gave the meme for the coaster community of lawn ornament.
Right.
Because literally, it was just an art piece at basically one point, how long it's been sitting around. But there's been footage. I mean, it's funny enough, I was looking at the timeline recently. It's been set to open since 2020. Like, it was, all right, they looked at everything, we're good to go. But there's been actual footage of it running again. So are we going to have a potential opening? I'll see when I believe, and I see the sign. Like, sign open and people have officially stepped foot on it. All right? That's when I'll care. But hopefully they are getting that much closer, because getting close to a decade is, I mean, the only other company that can really, challenge that is Disney. With Tron. And that's a clone.
Can't forget Ring Racer.
Well, that did open, didn't it?
Well, it opened for like a week.
Yeah, so at least that
SBNO.
did open. This is never open.
That's true. I just mean like SBNO.
Mm-hmm.
Long SBNOs.
Yeah.
Tron. That's great.
God, it's a clone. Like how hard is it to just copy and paste? Anyways. But yeah, hopefully that does open eventually, because that'll be cool. That's one of the most unique looking coasters. I mean, heck, it almost looks like a single rail before single rail existed. Yeah. That we knew at least that RMC was doing, and now Intimate and all the other manufacturers. So let's see, Ferrari World, let's get it open. I'm rooting for you. Also, need to go there for our Formula Rosa, because I don't think we're ever gonna see another coaster beat that speed record until Falcon's Flight. So
yeah, I mean I feel like that's like an underrated bucket list coaster, because there's so many.
Yeah, we didn't even name that.
There's so many that like are the obvious ones, and then that gets overlooked. But it's like that acceleration. I mean,
It's still hydraulic.
yeah.
And you're going 150.
I need to get on that.
149 to be exact, but let's round up here a bit.
Like, Ka is amazing, but I need to get on that.
I don't think the acceleration is going to be as good as those, but I don't think we're going to feel any, because every time I see just reverse POVs, like cameras of people, it's like consistent car thrill cheeks,
Yeah.
where they just look like chipmunks throughout the whole ride. And you have to wear goggles, but that might also be because where it is, you're literally flying through a desert. They don't want sand particles to pierce your eyeballs. That wouldn't be good. But that's all of the news, surprisingly. Let me make sure you got everything. Oh, no. It's because I care so little, Mock Tower. Mock Tower is officially closing. It got announced today, right before the cast.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
I mean, it's fun-ish.
No.
You don't think so? I mean,
See, the thing is that it was uncomfortable. The drop was mid as hell.
yes,
and
the drop is mid.
45 minutes
still...
away, I have one of the best drop towers in the States.
Okay.
So
that's true, but I mean, it's still a decent drop tower. Like,
now when I'm like in Frogger seats, because that's what they were, it just was so uncomfortable. And
what do
they
you
broke
think's
me down
replacing?
halfway. Like, even less than halfway. I'm not even falling in. They break me.
What do you think's gonna replace it then?
Replacements. I want to see a tall... It's probably going to be one of the tallest star flyers. Potentially. Or swinging models. They don't really have a tall swinging model. And they could beat out King's Minion in that aspect as well.
You don't think they would
That's the objective,
do another drop tower?
answer. I would love to see...
Or some sort of thrill attraction?
That's also to get to. I would love to see. I don't think they're gonna do this. The first one was what I could see them doing if they're trying to be fast. Just throw something in there, and also break records and a good fit. What I would want to see: a drop tower taller than King's Dominions, so taller than 272. Variable drops, which I don't know if really there's a manufacturer that does it yet besides, S&S, but I want something more forceful than that. I want a floaty drop. I want, give me a full experience, Busch Gardens. Give me something a scary theme.
Ever heard of Falcon's Fury?
The thing is, though,
Just wondering.
that lays you down, and then, give me,
Well, no, Falcon's Fury is overrated. That ride is mid.
Yeah, I've heard, and fortunately it was down. I think it was just annual maintenance.
Yeah,
but,
it's mid. Well, I mean, I heard from some people that they said they're just waiting on a part.
there seems to be a lot of things for
Yeah.
parks right now.
That's what I heard. They're saying it's annual maintenance, but they're really just waiting on a part.
Yeah, we heard
It's
from
gonna take an extended period of time.
we heard from Timmy that probably, I think it was on the cast last week, that he may have just told us it's off the cast, that the reason why Drop Tower is down, because it would have been open, is right before Haunt is one of the brake fins was bent, so they gotta wait for Intamin to send that in. So we would have had Drop Tower, because generally Drop Tower is open for Haunt.
Is it really?
Yeah, I ride it because I love
think,
looking at the fog when I drop. I love it.
I didn't realize that because I was scared of drop towers until January this year.
That was like one of the
probably
main times I rode it, because just dropping into the fog and seeing just and push all the fog away, so cool.
And it's crazy. I was scared of drop towers until January this year, and the first one I did was Orlando Freefall.
When I get the floor, I cannot stand looking at that thing. Ugh, especially at night. Ugh.
It's chilling.
It's just how they did it. They just lit up everything around it, but the silhouette of what it is.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways, I think, yeah. So, I'm trying to think what else they could put in.
I mean,
what's a really thrilling? I mean, I would love to see. I'm thinking the thing capacity though, right? Because I can't be saying give me what are those catapults or whatnot, where it's just 2 people or 4 people on each side, because they're probably thinking capacity. A lot of good flat rides don't have good capacity, unfortunately.
There's also the possibility nothing goes there.
Heck, I mean, if they just give us an experience, then that's a change of pace, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like a paid experience like Burgermeister, you know, or it's kind of exclusive to.
I just think that's also something in the realm of possibility. You know, they could just not replace it.
I mean,
So,
let's think about that plot of land exactly.
It's pretty.
What's
small.
behind Mock Tower though? What's behind it?
I think it like that's
it's
where
a gully,
like,
right?
Yeah, but it like because you have Verbolten there, then the bridge, and then it kind of like goes downhill, and you have like Loch Ness, and then there's like a kind of like a woodsy area, but
Exactly, a
like it all
woodsy
goes
area.
like downhill and stuff.
A woodsy
like, it's
area.
like
So, let's say they set up for a coaster. You know, a small scale, not too big. You know, twister layout.
I highly doubt that. Because
I mean,
that's like really bad terrain though, because it's like a little bit flat, but it's also going like uphill, and then it goes like downhill. Like I don't know, I couldn't see it personally. Like why? Like I don't know, unless
Get Gerstlauer or someone in there. They always do the weird
that
stuff.
would be like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like just like a lot of land clearing and all that type of stuff. It's just so much terrain. I don't even know like. if
What happened
there's
to
enough
the
room for
Twisted Shamrock coaster in Ireland? That was like a 2016, 2017 rumor. I mean, that's one area that
like
really
before
needs
my
some.
time.
That area needs. Yeah, there was a rumor that an RMC was either getting put in UK, which I think would have been cool, but also around the Ireland area because that literally needed rides because Battle for Ire was the only thing there, and now there's nothing there besides Finnegan's Flyer, I guess. So, which is a good ride. Scream and Swing.
You know,
It's a good view, too.
I've never ridden that, and I think I have like at least 10 visits to Busch.
I mean, it always has a long line.
Yeah, I think
and
that's why.
the ops on it are not great. Like, I've waited at least 3 minutes every cycle sometimes. It was like...
SeaWorld San Antonio, Tidal Surge. They're lightning quick.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And they also put us in a cage in Finnegan's Flyer. It's kind of weird. Like, the queue is literally a cage. That's the best way to describe it. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that, and I've had a few rides on it. It's pretty fun.
I'm sure BGW fans will be cooking something up pretty soon. I mean, it's the day it happened, so
I mean, they've been teasing it for a bit.
give it a week and
That's the only reason why not everyone is too surprised, because
yeah.
if you've also been to the park, like, you go there, everything would be open, miraculously, and then that would be the only thing that would be down.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a constant. So, yeah, we'll see. I hope it's something either... You know, I wouldn't mind an observation tower either. Why not? The park's pretty enough.
Just at that
I
point,
see
I'll
all
take
of
the Star
Williamsburg.
Flyer. Although that is such bad capacity. Star Flyers are a terrible capacity.
They shouldn't be, though. Like, you know, they take a lot of people. It's just, I guess the cycle is what makes the capacity bad.
Yeah. Especially
You have to bring them all the way up, spin them for at least 30 seconds.
Okay, well, like, as long as they better do a tall one and not try to do the freaking Holiday World one,
No.
which is like 20 feet.
No, I'm telling you, it needs to be, like, one of the tallest, like,
Yeah.
close to 400, if not that mark.
That would be super interesting. But don't they have problems with like the height restrictions and stuff? I'm pretty sure they do.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I feel like we would have... I don't know if we would see that balloon anytime soon, because they're probably already working on, clearly, 2024 coaster.
Yeah.
God, after writing Gwazi, I really hope it's an RMC. I need more Joe Draves creations, man. Oh my god.
Air Force One.
I was looking at that POV again, and that could be number one.
It's gonna
Like,
be mental.
like, I am slowly... I need almost RMC tattooed on my chest. That's how much of a stand I'm like, I'm joking, but, like, it's getting to that point where, like, when will they miss? For me, at least.
You
for
need
me.
to get on IRAT.
I'm like, that. I feel like that could be top 10 for me, too, when I look at that every time.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know, man. That view... a lot... Novelty of rides really can have an impact on me. But if the forces are just not like that...
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
It's really good, though. Just not quite top 10.
I think with my count now, I could see it, and then it just drops. Because, like, I get a lot of pretty decent heavy hitters, at least I've noticed. And then I'll get Steve, and then I'll get Velocicoaster. And then it's like, all right.
Once you get, like, you're still missing stuff. Like, once you get, like, Voyage,
Yeah.
X2.
I'm very curious about Voyage. Because is that just gonna be number one, or am I gonna still hold on to?
I gotta be there when you ride Voyage, 100%.
Well, that's one. I want to make a sneaky trip to Holiday World, just in the middle of like the week.
We'll
It's
do
like,
a
fuck it.
let's do a High Rollers Hollywood Night or High Rollers Holiday World takeover. Get a cabin.
Fuck it. I didn't even know they had cabins. That's
Yeah.
a bet.
Bring some bud.
Don't. We actually will not Holiday World. We will be very good boys and you know, just have a good time responsibly. So that is all the news.
Gotta have a sneaky Holiday World trip though.
But speaking of trips, let's roll like the second one up here, bro. Cause
I was waiting for Florida. Yeah.
Florida, man. Finally, at least me, I made it back to a lot of the rides that I skipped because I was a wuss back when I was. When did I go? 2012. It's one of the few years before my graduation, but.
Yeah.
Finally got to Universal and Islands of Adventure to get back on Hulk. Velocicoaster. Finally got to Busch Gardens Tampa for the first time. Rode everything at SeaWorld that I missed and more because there are new coasters since. And got White Lightning. Which we have the different. We basically have the same opinion.
Did you not get Freedom Flyer?
It's a credit. Forget it. it's.
I know. I was just curious
it's
if you
pretty
got the
mid.
plus one.
Yeah. But we have differing opinions on White. Basically, same opinion, but differing opinions on it.
Yes.
But regardless, what a trip, man.
Can't forget Buc-ee's.
Like I said, I'm literally repping Buc-ee's right now. I would be wearing a cape. I would be the Buc-ee's man. And I would probably turn into a beaver myself. But where do you even start? I mean, I was there a day before you.
Yeah, 2 days. Well, like I guess
was
day and
there-
a half. Day and a half.
So I guess I'll start from when I got in on Thursday, which we got in at a crispy 11:30. That was one of the. They said 2 hours. We got there in like an hour and 30.
Yeah.
It was I'm like, wow. We got our bags, everything. We even checked in early, so we were ready to go to SeaWorld at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or not actually 12 o'clock. Like 1:30.
Yeah.
But we were ready to go, and it's literally right down the street from the club where we stayed at. So
Yeah.
you went there, hit everything up, and regardless of it, of everything, the layout, the coaster lineup is a good coaster lineup. They just need to build it, and I feel bad whenever I see kids walking that park. That's all I gotta say. Because if I see them walking anywhere outside of Sesame Street, which that is actually one of the best themed kids areas I've seen. That's
I do
really
agree
good.
with that.
I felt like there's one place I felt like I was walking through Sesame Street, and it kind of brought me back because I watched them at least for a year or two when I was at least from what I remember. It was great. I think that was a really, really good area. But regardless, yeah, this is definitely, I almost think, put to more adults and hey, have a beer, ride some coasters, look at mantas, look at some dolphins. Which basically what we did, we went through everything, hit everything within 2 hours. Basically walked on, so we got front and back on everything for good reviews. And Manta, man, Manta is really good. That's one of the best, one of the prettiest coasters I've ever seen because it's just the landscaping of it, how they shoot the fountains, and it still works. That coaster's been out for a good bit. A lot of times, a lot of these effects don't work.
It's upkept. And just the near misses, the water. Just you literally can get splashed if you.
No, I was on
splash down.
one of my last rides on my
I
left
just
wing.
love that effect.
I literally got, I technically soaked because it just sprayed perfectly on me, and it jumped scared me because I was like, that actually happened.
And then
that was amazing.
That pretzel loop.
That's
is insane.
Me and him were talking about this. It's so good it almost overshadows the rest of the ride.
I really want to ride Tatsu.
Yeah,
And Flying Dinosaur.
Because like, Ultimate Flight is... That pretzel loop is good, but it's not Tatsu's.
Yeah.
It's not Tatsu's, man. Because it caught me off guard because I was like, oh, I've done Ultimate Flights, it's whatever.
Ultimate Flight
and then
is
it's I mean, the fact it's bigger,
Like, you go ride Manta, and it's really good, and you ride Ultimate Flight, and it's just mid, which means it's bad.
The definition of mid is average. Hope you know that.
But, like, to me, like,
average
it's just bad. Yeah.
Average to RC and coaster scale.
It has to be good or
bad.
elite for me to ride it.
But yeah, Manta is a really great time. We got a few laps on that. It caught Gavin off guard because he didn't even know it was a flying coaster. So he's sitting down thinking, oh, I like these restraints for this invert. And I was like, oh. I just look at him and he's like, what? I'm like, nothing.
What did he say?
We went into the flying position and then his eyeballs just blew up like golf balls. Like, he's, oh god. And he felt like one of those feelings where it's like he actually felt scared going up the left hill because he didn't know what to experience.
Holy shit.
So I think the only time I'm gonna feel that is on X2 and Ijanaika, because like I'm literally going up backwards, I can't see, and it's gonna flip me. Like that's a completely different
That's how
thing.
I feel on Timbili.
I don't feel that way on Tabili at all because it's consistent at least one flip at the top, at least. But yeah, like he didn't know what to experience, but he ended up loving it. Like his smaller coaster count of like I want to say 40, close to 50. He has it in his top 10 easily. So
yeah, I
mean I think it's gonna stay there for quite a bit. But his opinions are weird. They're sort of all over the place, we were hearing some. But shout outs to Gavin. Mako was next though, and I heard Mako grew on you.
Yeah, I rode it in October, and I think that's probably my favorite hyper. B&M hyper.
Yeah, so right now, it's been so long since I've had a Diamondback ride.
Yeah,
that's where I have it. I have Mako at least as my favorite because we were talking about this a little bit before the cast. I think Candemonium in the front has some of the strongest, like on that first Camelback, the strongest floater air time, and longest on a Hershey Park on a hyper coaster for B&M. But Mako is just the most consistent. Like even though I do crap on the finale a bit, because for me at least, the last hill right before you go into over the water, I at least got floaters throughout the whole hill that time.
I think Mako, most B&M hypers have pretty forceless finishes.
Unless you're talking Goliath, and even Diamondback has a good finish.
Yeah, Diamondback does. I'm just saying most do.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking like Nitro,
Intimidator's just terrible.
Intimidator.
Oh my god! Like I remember when I saw Intimidator again, and I was like, "Is this actually like? Is it just cold?" Nah.
Funnel.
Dude.
And
So,
Scooby Snacks.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm already not the biggest fan of sustained floater, but like, I really want to get the ride some of you people get because I get nothing on Intimidator at all. Nothing. It's like almost as bad as Apollo sometimes. I think I get more airtime on Apollos actually.
Yes. I
Like,
would say yes.
and then, I mean, where do we put Nitro then? They're all like so close.
Nitro's pretty decent. It's like right below Apollo's probably. Intimidator's last. Candemonium's above Nitro.
I want to ride Raging Bull's drop, like the first drop, because I hear that is actually incredible in the back. So, but this tangent's gone wild. So Mako is really good though. Is it firmly 25? Let me see. I really like the setting of it too. How it sits, just hugs the corner of the park. The out and back layout. But yeah, everything up until the mid course is great. Like it's staple B&M hyper, and it's one of the best. Like you can't go wrong with it. If you're a big fan of floater airtime, even float jector in some moments, it's great. Where do I have it though? It's number 24.
Okay. That's fair.
No, it's a little spoiler. I'm not going to say the actual numbers anymore for next week. But after that, what did we
Kraken,
do?
right?
Oh yeah, we did Kraken.
Did you get the Atlantis credit?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually did it one of the last ones, and that was a mistake, but because it got cold-ish.
And you didn't get Infinity Falls.
That was down for annual maintenance.
Gosh, they're probably just waiting on a part 2.
Yeah, they're probably waiting on a part, to be honest. like, it just seems like the recurring theme, like, just from a lot of,
Intimate.
like, not even Intimate, like, Ritter from Windseeker, too, like,
Yeah,
just
that's true.
waiting on parts.
Supply chain, then I guess.
But yeah, we ended up getting Icebreaker, and so for some reason, every other ride I could put my bag, my fanny, my medicine bag on the side. Didn't need to use lockers. I get to the station, and for some reason I can't put my bag there. I can't put my bag on the basket. I had to ride with my medicine bag. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But why? Regardless, it's okay. Very weird attraction.
A flop.
Once you get going with the swing launch and go over the top hat, and then those two bunny hills, that's pretty good. Everything else, I was, it's okay.
It's a flop.
It doesn't really hit anything too hard. And now the height requirement, with it being that it is, I now consider it, yes, a flop. Because kids can't ride it, only adults. And that's why literally you'll see more lines for everything else than Icebreaker. Even though the capacity for the other rides are better because they're B&Ms. But yeah, it's not even that cool to look at either.
Yeah, it's not very. What's the
At least the swing, like the switch track, is cool to look at. But and the bar that it came with it, the glacier bar, the bartenders are great. I had a conversation with a few of them. They're great people. I think one of them was there since the opening this year. She was great to talk to. So that's a great addition. I might have liked that more than the ride.
Oh, West, did you go to the giraffe bar at Busch Gardens, Tampa? Yes.
So that was I'll get to that. But basically we're about to.
Yes. Our little buzz bars, drunk riders tangents.
Man.
Oh, the giraffe bar is fantastic.
Cause like it was so funny. I got to get to that reveal. But so we'd get to Kraken after, and I don't know what it was with the first ride on Kraken. I swear I was hydrated. I ate food and everything. I was a little buzzy, but I was chilling. It was a nice day. We were about an hour and a half in. Kraken, that first ride was some of the most intense roller coaster experience I have ever felt. It was so strange because the second ride later that day was not the same ride. It was very, very less. It was forceful, but not pins and needles in between every inversion like I got. It was insane. I was like, whoa. I was not expecting that. It was really, really good. The second ride was still really good, but it wasn't pins and needles. Like I was going through Alpenguy's Cobra Roll on every element. But yeah, it's still, for the time that it opened up, I still like Kraken, man. I like me some Kraken.
It's like, I feel like I haven't ridden it since April, but it's a really good floorless.
It's really solid, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really solid. And for the time too, but like I said, B&M's peak,
Yeah. 90s era.
And then 90s,
Kumba.
You talk about crack, and then you talk about 90s, you go down the highway an hour, and you got some real nice 90s B&Ms, man.
Or 10 minutes
So,
down the street.
Yeah, we finished up with a few more laps on basically around the whole park, because at that point, we've done everything. Journey to Atlantis, it's actually a good ride. I wish there were more dark ride segments, but hey, I'll take it.
It's good for what it is.
It's hilarious that the biggest splash you get is on the smallest.
Yeah.
Is on the smallest fucking little dip into the next chain lift. And that's what got us, because it was like, oh, this isn't bad. We go down, cold.
Yeah.
Frozen cold. It's only like 65 at this point, so it's actually cold. Man. Yeah, also, we had a little hard time finding the engines for that, too, because we were just, yeah. We were taking in the scenery, taking footage in, and then walking around the whole thing, and they were like, how do we get in?
I'm not a big fan of SeaWorld Orlando's park layout.
It's not great. It's a big circle, and there's a random bridge that cuts through in the middle. I don't know if that's recent.
It's a bit, I feel like it's a bit more confusing than that, because there's just so many pathways and stuff.
I don't know, for us, because like I treated it like it's a big circle around that lake, and then after that there's some pockets for certain rides.
Yeah.
Which, getting to layouts I'm not a big fan of is the next day, because to wrap up though, SeaWorld Orlando it's a great little quaint. It almost feels like it should be smaller than what it is. Like, it almost feels like I shouldn't be paying. I need to get in. I have a pass, but that's a single day ticket, you know. I'm assuming that's for all of it goes to a lot of the restoration and the rescue for the animals. Since they don't do shows anymore, a lot of the animals that you see, you won't be seeing in a year or two when you go back. You know, they're going to be back out in the ocean, you know, living their lives. So, and same with the Busch Gardens parks, I think as well. Yeah. Unless they're the Williamsburg one, which they literally take in like
SeaWorld
the
San
wolves
well.
and like the eagles. But the SeaWorld parks, I at least know they give them, they put them back out into the wild. But yeah, it was great to do that, you know, and the queues for some of them, like Manta, is great, you know. Just looking at the Mantas, and on a light day, why not? You know, just take it all in, you know. And I imagine if it ever got that long, that'd be a nice reprieve from everything. So, Bergman SeaWorld, especially for credits that aren't forget-its, you know, like it's an actual good park, and if you like beer, low-key great place for it. Like, and the bartenders know their stuff. I was impressed. You know, a lot of times you go to these parks, they kind of just give you the general wear, and kind of just go with, you know, or whatever. They're theme park bartenders, but these guys, you know, they treated it like I went to an actual, like, you know, a brewery. You know, it was very homey, very cozy feeling. I liked it. But on the Busch Gardens Tampa, where we go down I-4 for an hour and hit that up. So, first things first, I think I love the look of Tampa just so much more than Williamsburg. And before I even get more into it, I think I want to say I'm biased because I've seen Williamsburg so much. I've been in Williamsburg since literally I was like 6.
Yeah.
You know, and I was still astonished with it then, but now I'm just, and my vibe with it now, going to a new park, a new Busch Gardens, and being as much of a fan of animals as I am, it was great. Seeing a lot of the animals, the giraffe bar, you know, all that stuff. But the coasters, because they're mostly a coaster park with beer.
Yeah.
Busch Gardens, but mostly a coaster park, and they've been a little stagnant up until Cobra's Curse, when they started picking up again. And man, the first ride we rode was Gwazi because it was running. It's too enticing. It's a beautiful fucking ride, man. Oh my god. So we had to. It said 35. We only waited 5. We'll take it. First ride was a back right. Yeah, it was a back right. All the way in the back. I was not expecting to get lats off the just out of the station, because if you go down and just, I'm like, okay. And that's a precursor for the rest of the damn ride. Not necessarily for laterals, but just for how insane. That is the most intense RMC I have been on. Agreed. So the drop is really close to Steve's, but for some reason it feels like it lasts so much longer. Like I'm just flying out. And every element, in Steve hits for me too, but it's not as long as Steve, but it's just, every element is so damn ace. So damn good. The Outer Bank airtime hill is better. I get ejector. I get float ejector on Steve's. Like, and that's just what I got. Like,
honestly, I feel like Steve's Outer Bank is better.
Bruh. I dropped the J between the seat, bruh.
You might have to get out and then push it all the way forward. Hey, that's hilarious.
I'm pretty buzzy now, though. Holy shit.
Hey,
there might be still some left, but nah, I fall out.
Yeah.
Well, I got my bong.
Do it with the Sprite. Kidding.
Shit, we do need water. You can dry hit it, but I would not recommend that for
Nah,
someone
I
that
can
has...
get water.
Alright, so we're just gonna do a quick little break. You don't have to stop the recording, but just so I know for cutting here. Do you want to hit it though?
Nah, you can keep talking.
Because if I was gonna shove, I do. These dispos are crazy. I still have my dispo, and I had this shit for almost a month now. Brought it with me to Florida. These Delta extracts, man. Strawberry shortcake, get you right. Get you right, coach. Get you right.
Yeah, I'm fried, bro.
Yeah, I'm pretty fried now. So I was like, that's probably the reason why that happened in the first place. So Busch Gardens, Tampa, Gwazi. Outer Banks Hill ejector. Yes.
I mean, I think the Outer Bank on that and Steve are pretty close.
They are. But
I think I'd prefer Steve's probably.
I think the reason is I was able to dictate my room though. That might have been it too. Like, cause at Busch Gardens, Tampa, they check your seatbelt and then they pull up.
Yeah,
they don't push down like
that's
Cedar
true.
Point.
Because I could get more room on Steve.
So like that might have been a factor for sure.
So I was getting really good rides.
Because after that, you go down, you get so much speed, and then you go back up.
So, well, the death roll is absolutely incredible.
Into one of my,
it's so whippy.
It might be my favorite. It might be. It's tied, right?
It's tied. I 100% enjoy the Mosasaurus roll more. I can confidently say that. But that is fantastic. Like there's no denying that.
Because like when I do the backflip on it, bro.
Yeah. It's incredibly whippy. It is so intense.
I lose myself in it. Yeah. Like when I look forward, I'm like
with the ejector, like you're getting ejected too. It's crazy.
Oh.
Like you carry so much speed and just get torn through it.
And then
you dive down.
That's the reason why I like it. I feel like I like it a tad more than the Mosasaurus roll, though. That's the only reason. It's because I'm literally gaining speed while I'm getting ripped out of my seat.
Have you backflipped on the Mosasaurus roll, though?
Yeah, on right side, too.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I was
front and back.
I didn't do it back. Or I didn't do it front.
Front right is the best seat on the ride. Front right night ride.
See, the thing is, Bob thinks back is the best. Now I don't know who to believe.
There's a lot of people that prefer
to be honest though,
front right.
When I get to Velocicoaster,
there's not a bad seat on the ride.
There's not a bad seat on that ride. To be completely honest, but that's skipping ahead to the next day. But Gwazi, the death roll, it feels like you're getting yanked by an alligator and killed.
Then you got the wave turn.
So I was surprised because that was the one moment when I looked at the POV or off ride. I'm like, but I actually got good whip, and then you get in the back, you get airtime after. You actually get airtime. I was like, what? Amazing. And then, okay, this might be my favorite. Oh my god. At least when I rode it, the wave turn to this day is the best and the most amount of ejector I've ever had on a roller coaster.
It's flaming hot.
It is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So that twist and shout is I can talk about it all day. Like, I look at that and I'm like, I almost want to book a ticket to Tampa, just straight up, just because of that twist and shout.
Breeze Airlines, Norfolk to Tampa, cheap.
And then after, it feels like Steve. It feels like you're going on that little small little airtime hill wave turn. It reminds me of it. It reminds me of that.
Well, then you got the stall right after.
Which I think the stall
turn.
on Steve is better because it just has so much whip. The reason I literally smacked you on the head from the whip on Steve.
There's a stall on Steve?
It's like the very
You're
end.
talking about under in when you're in the structure.
Right before you leave at the first half. It's like a little like mini stall, I thought.
I don't think it's a stall, but it's a unique element though. I don't know what it's called.
They're similar enough to where maybe
Yeah.
it's not a stall, where I prefer that on Steve.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that whip is ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
But it's still really good on Gwazi. And then I was getting so much
I think
room.
Gwazi's stall is very quick. It's
Yeah.
not it's not sustained. It's just it's a quick
It almost doesn't feel
snap.
like a stall.
Yeah, you just roll past it, pretty much.
But after the airtime elements,
Yeah.
I fly up, and I had the rides I had so much room. I would land, and then it would like be unbanked and turn, and I would just jut into my
Yeah.
to the left. Oh, it was so good. Airtime.
You hit
that
the brake run
dive.
incredibly hard.
That was almost an element in itself to me.
Yeah.
This is like you hit the brake when I have to hold myself up, but I will let myself go because you literally just fly forward.
Yeah.
Fly forward. That ride it takes your breath. It takes your fucking breath away, man. Like, if you're an RMC fan, you got to go to Tampa. That's all I gotta say. You gotta go to Tampa. I can see it is a battle of the giants in North America. I can see either way. Hell, I can ride Steve tomorrow and probably be hell, Steve is number one again. Like those rides are incredible.
They're just in a tier above
But like
everything else.
I think the intensity, like the sheer speed and just relentlessness of what they throw in. It's almost like this shouldn't be in. This is kind of this is kind of too much. All right. So I haven't even gotten to the rest of the rides. Holy shit! But that's how good Gwazi is to me. Oh my god! Like it's such a good ride. So we got back to back on that really quick, and then we did the same thing in the station. We're like, all right, do we go to the rest of the rides because we got to get the creds? Gwazi's too good. There's no wait. And we had to pull ourselves away because we got to get the creds. That's how much enthusiasts we are. Oh, Jesus. But what was even next? So we were trying to hit Chikra next, I think. But that was ended up closed down. You good, bro? RC is recollecting himself right now. But Chikra... We had Tigers next. Because that was just on the way, and Chikra was closed for annual maintenance. Cell workers like underneath and around like the station, all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's closed.
Tigers is.
I'm not a fan of Skyrocket 2s. They all feel the same to me, so it's whatever, you know. It was a credit, and I think the theming was better. I mean, generally, like I feel that way about Busch Gardens Tampa. It also might be the fact that generally you're an hour away from Orlando, where Orlando parks already feel the need to go a little more beyond than the general amusement park because their competitors are Disney and Universal. So that might also be a factor too on why the Busch Gardens Tampa to me just felt more better themed. Yeah. But after that we head up. Yeah, it was Kumba was next. And
B&M.
That was, I think I had this, I didn't think I put it on the cast for the bucket list when we talked about that, but it would have been on there because I've been looking at that ride literally like in throw rides, like the book from Scholastic Book Fair, and like POVs of that ride. That was one of the rides in like the community that has been around and people have talked about. And I always loved the look of it. I've always thought it was going to be a ride I enjoyed. It was one of the few B&M sit-downs. And I rode Hulk, and I loved it. So I was like, I really want to get on Kuma when I get the chance.
Yeah.
And it really lived up, you know. It's obviously it's to the day, but even then, like, it's intense. It whips. It's a strong layout. It has character. Like, the near misses are great. And I obviously had to get the obligatory shot with the corkscrews. You know how it is. So that's pretty high up there. Montu, though, probably one of the most complete layouts that B&M has ever made, in my opinion. It's one of the few mid-courses where it doesn't even feel like I'm not even mad, you know. People say, oh, the mid-course kills the momentum. Not for Montu.
It doesn't. No.
Not for Montu.
Montu's relentless.
It's so good.
But
so
Afterburn's still better.
It's not better. It's not better. Why though?
There's something about.
So is it
Afterburn.
is it the Batwing on it?
I think so.
Because the Batwing is, I think, more, because they're both ridiculous.
Afterburn is,
but Afterburn's is
incredible, and it, like, yes, Montu is still relentless despite having a mid course, but Afterburn not having a mid course still helps it edge out Montu for me.
Like, I think just the length of Montu, for me, is what gets it.
It is longer,
like,
but Afterburn just does what it needs to do, and it might be a little bit shorter, but it has no mid course.
No, they're so close though. It's like,
yeah.
When I hear
definitely one or two.
When I hear either side, it's whatever. But for me, it's the complete, like, I can't, like, there was a point I was like, I can't believe this is still actually going with this speed on Montu. I'm like, incredible ride. And the near misses. They do near misses so well in with SeaWorld's parks in Florida. Like Manta, Kumba, Montu. I mean, I guess you could throw in Gwazi, but the structure, you know, it's not theming, you know. Like I really am a fan of, like, good landscaping in a ride. So it's not just plopped in a field, just down the highway from us. But yeah, so from there, what did we end up? So we think we got some food after Montu. We definitely did. We're gonna go on Corpus Christi, but that's where we went to the giraffe bar.
Yes.
And I got me a blonde ale. It was nice. While we actually missed the giraffes at first because we sat at the very corner. We're like, "Where's the giraffes? There's Corpus Christi." And then we were walking like, "Oh, I guess there's no." Oh. And then we saw
too much strawberry shortcake.
Yes, too much strawberry shortcake. And then at that point, some ale. So, you know, you got beer. You got a little bit of fade going on. But sitting there, you know, recovering in the shade of the giraffes, that was a top tier theme park experience. Like, man, because
that was like me in the summer, just in the Florida heat, very fried, and then I just went into the penguin exhibit at SeaWorld Orlando and was just standing looking at penguins.
Oh, that's one thing. I guess that area is pretty mid, bro.
It is,
but
the penguin exhibit is really awesome.
So, like, you walk through and you're like, what the hell am I here for?
It feels, like, outdated.
It's so outdated. It opened with the park, right? It had to.
Yeah.
Because, like, you walk through and then there's a point where it smells like dead fish.
Yeah.
And you're like...
That's the penguin exhibit. But, like, it's nice, though.
I guess that makes more sense now. I guess it's not...
I personally enjoyed it while I was just baked, wandering.
I mean, I was pretty baked and I was still just like, bruh. I guess the effect is kind of ruined too when you're like, I actually am from the cold and then I'm in 75-degree weather now and I see icebergs around me. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you know. And then there's nothing but the that dark ride or whatever isn't it closing soon or rumored to be closing soon or something? The Escape from the Arctic, or I don't know what dark ride is at SeaWorld.
I don't even think I've been on it.
I hear it's not too great, but at least they have something for kids, because what is there to do for kids there? But yeah, to finish off, we got Giraffe Bar, and then we got Corpus Christi, which was... Oh, no, we got Cheetah Hunt, because it's right walking out of Giraffe Bar. Luckily, it wasn't too long. It was only a 15-minute, and I say this in my vlog that's coming out sometime soon, but I can definitely see for enthusiasts that were traveling at the time when they rode Maverick, and then another multi-launch LSM from Intimate is coming, and then they got that. that's all I gotta say. I couldn't get it. I went in
God.
with the expectations that it's mid. And I'm like, man, this is... I went in... The water was even on for our experience. And that's been off for how many years? And I still was...
Do you see, like, the part where there's some resemblance to Skyrocket at Kennywood?
Oh, yeah. Where you're going, where you're diving in between. And I was like, oh, what is this, Cheetah Hunt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheetah Hunt is a meme.
Yeah, that's actually, funny enough, that's one of my favorite parts on Cheetah Hunt, because that's how boring the ride is.
And the restraints are just...
No, the zero-G roll hurt.
Yep.
Like, what?
Now
I'm really afraid to ride the Raptors. Because if that hurt, then, and they're similar-ish.
Well, Jersey Devil Coaster didn't bother me, but Wonder Woman Gold Lasso Coaster I thought was super painful.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be in pain riding a roller coaster. That's all I gotta say.
Ruins the experience.
Yeah. Grizzly is, your top 10 Woody or something?
It's
Mind Blower
close.
is also your top 3 Woody?
That's like, it's top 5, I think.
Still. The contradictions.
It's wood's different than steel.
I agree.
And plus, we're talking about OTSRs, over the shoulder restraints.
That's true. Imagine Grizzly with over the shoulder restraints.
I'd never ride it again, to be quite honest with you. Like, if the over the shoulder restraints were like feather or something like that, I don't know. If it was any sort of hard OTSR on Grizzly, I would never ride it again. I guarantee you that.
So, Drive Bar was great. Corpus Christi was a fun little ride. We got a night ride on it. Unfortunately, there was someone recording their phone in front of us. I tried to yell at them to put their phone away. Please don't pull out your phones on rides. I don't care how tame the ride is. Please. God. And then, so then we had the midway issues, right? So around like 6, and this is where we really saw Busch Garden Tampa's true colors. Because we had a great time. We were there for about 3 hours. I got basically everything we wanted. We were going to go to try to hit Sand Serpent, the last credit we needed. And also get a few re-rides. But they just randomly started cutting off, like, main walkways. With, like, these big wooden, like, fences. Like, forcing crowds to go elsewhere. And at this point, I also found out the locals like to go to Busch Gardens after work. Because when we tried to go to Gwazi, it was 45 minutes each time this time. When it probably should have been 30, but they were sitting 3, maybe 4 minutes each train.
Yeah, Gwazi's crew is...
They were chilling, that's all I gotta say.
That's what you get with C's hourly pay. You know?
They were chilling. They were definitely chilling. Because at this point, we're trying to go get Montu and get Sand Serpent, and I lost Sand Serpent because that walkway was just closed. You're telling us, oh, okay, let's go to Iron Gwazi, let's go to the entrance. And that walkway is closed. And everyone is confused. No one knows where to go. Your map doesn't work at this point. I can't look it up because the walkways are closed. Right. I guess we'll bring this up too, because unfortunately, Gavin's phone did break like the first night we were even in Orlando. So, we had to use my phone as well. So, on our way leaving Cheetah Hunt, we were having a good time, all this stuff, and I guess he just somehow thought he had his wallet on him, but just left it in the locker. So when we got it, the other one at Corpus Christi, he was feeling for his wallet, wasn't there. So we had to go over to Cheetah Hunt real quick and open up that locker. Similar stuff like this has happened to me at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Kings Dominion, Cedar Point. It's taken 10 minutes tops, maybe, to resolve something like this, and to help ease someone's conscience of, okay, if it's not here, let's look somewhere else. We were waiting there for almost 45 minutes because apparently around Busch Gardens, Tampa, that big of a park, they only have 2 people with access codes for lockers. 2 people. 2 people in that size of a park. So the guy, at least shout out to the photo op guy at the end, or the merchandise guy at the Cheetah Hunt, because he was definitely reflecting and like understanding, because he was like, yeah, I don't know why we don't have universal locker system, blah 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 blah. I was there yesterday. They have someone at every locker, which they definitely do. They have someone at every single locker in case something is happening. Yeah, luckily it was there, but we could have potentially have gotten more rides on other things, you know, instead of sitting there waiting. It was still on obviously what happened. He left his locker in there, or left his wallet in the locker. But 45 minutes, it's not knowing. It's saying, 10 minutes. On top of the fact we couldn't get around midways, on top of the fact that all of a sudden Gwazi was just stopping front and back row. They were just funneling people through the second row and the seventh row. Just random miscommunication and just no uniformity in any sort of policies.
Yeah, I've heard similar stories, and I've had similar experiences at Busch. So yeah, this is not surprising at all.
I guess to top it all off, we did get 2 last rides on Gwazi, which were great. And the very last ride, for some reason, they had a Christmas light overlay on, which was red and green. Our ride, they just turned all the lights off. All of them were off. So we just got a pitch black. I wish it was a new moon too, but it was like a half crescent, so we got some moon. But basically, we got a night ass ride. Yeah. It was a dark ass ride. And that was a great way to finish off the night. Back row too, because that's another thing with the miscommunication. We went to the 7th row thinking, we won't be able to get back. We see people just walking to the back, and no one's saying anything. So we don't have no clue why they closed the front or the back. But yeah, Gwazi. So I can't speak enough about it. I'm just gonna have to shut myself up about it, basically, because I could probably go on about it for like the Roadrunner, just for a good few hours, just nitpicking everything on why I love it. But the next day, and the day
I landed,
the day
that
you landed,
morning, and that was Universal Day 1.
Man, what a park! What a park!
Number 1 park.
I have to agree, because everything is just so goddamn smooth, buttery smooth. Just doing anything, getting help, because our first, we went in and I already had my access pass, or annual pass, excuse me, and Gavin got his ticket that morning, but he never got the confirmation. Don't know if there were server issues or anything, but we went up to the lady at the ticket booth and asked, hey, we didn't get our confirmation. Immediately knew what to do. Told us to go over to guest services or whatever, ticket services. That was already moving fast. Kristen already knew what to do. He's like, all right. Less than 30-45 seconds, we're already back at the park. I was talking to that guy. It's like, oh, wow.
Compared to 45 minutes the day before at Busch
Gardens, Tampa. For a locker, yes. We're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Walking in, and you can't beat the theme.
You've got Hulk. You've got Velocicoaster across
the lake.
The Jurassic Park Discovery Center.
Like, you already saw me
standing on the right.
You saw me in front of Steve, and how I was just awing at it, and just
yes.
That was the same thing when I walked and saw Velocicoaster just sitting there across the lake. I'm like, that is one of the best views of a theme park.
It's truly amazing. It's something that would never get old.
Even if you don't ride it, just looking at it.
It's a marvel.
It's so gorgeous. So we were going to try to hope, because you said single rider was open, but beginning of the day, they just said, screw that, we're not open. So we're like, okay. What do we do?
Was it just a walk on in the station then?
No, it was still 30 minutes, I guess.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. We were walking around at this point, just taking in Universal, or taking the Islands of Adventure. We ran into the comic strip area, where as a comic book nerd and Marvel and DC fan, I was all for it, even though it's only Marvel there, but still. We walk right in, and the first thing we see is the 80s Green Goblin with Dr. Doom. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get a picture. And that was awesome. He looked like he was doing a gang sign in my picture, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that was great. I didn't realize they sold they just sold comics in there too, in the merchandising store. That's great, because they're not gonna find really different runs or interpretive runs. but you're gonna find just origins and like iconic beginnings for characters for people to get into comics if they really wanted to. And I'm for that as a comic nerd. But that area was like, we walked through there for at least 20 minutes, just taking everything in there. So finally, another thing we both love is just cartoons. And it's old, like, we love Tom and Jerry, Popeye, like, Looney Tunes, the Goofy and Donald Duck shorts. So we walk through there, and the first character we see is Popeye and Olive Oil. So we had to talk to them. I got that. That was too good. Guy was wearing a green shirt, and he was like, "Oh, look at all that spinach he has." Oh, and they said, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, from Virginia." "Oh, Virginia's for lovers." Just got it. They got it, bro. Like, oh, there's so much more they said. It was just, you got to look at the vlog. Like, that was great. Like, unfortunately, I didn't see that many more characters throughout the Days and Islands of Adventure. Those were the only characters that were walking around. And I feel like maybe it was because we were a little bit off season before Christmas and all that stuff. But yeah, like...
None in Seuss Landing?
No, I didn't see any in Seuss Landing.
I did it. At some points I saw some. Maybe they saw some.
Yeah, like, I feel like it just maybe was out of tune with the encounters and all that stuff. But at least when we first came in, it was just back-to-back. We were like, okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we basically wrapped around, and then I think we met up at Veloci, because we were just walking around.
Yeah.
Just taking everything in. So, Velocicoaster, man. Oh, jeez.
I believe you did front first, right?
So, because I think at this point you guys were you were getting return times and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
got a return time of Velocicoaster, and it was an hour, and I've heard the ops were good. This is a true test. Let's go with Velocicoaster. And I never saw the queue beyond literally where you see at the entrance. So I was like, okay, yeah, like, this could be ridiculous if it really had to. But I wasn't even mad for the first time because I'm like, okay, just taking all these pictures, all these shots. You got a great shot of Hulk from across the lake too. But once you're inside the actual Velocicoaster experience, like that, those cattle pins in there with the statue, that's when I'm like, okay, this is one of the best roller coaster queues out there. Even if it's not like the most interactive, you can touch things, it's just the story of it all. It's just, it wraps up so good. It's like it feels like I'm always for the ride for these attractions. I'm not really a Transformers fan. I'm not a Simpsons fan. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I'll go on these rides and I'll be immersed in the settings, Yeah. Like, I'll take it in and I'll take it for what it's worth. Yeah. And like Jurassic and Velocicoaster, for some reason, I was able to just feel it. Like, it just makes sense. Like,
it's incredible.
Like everything. Like, it feels like I'm walking in Jurassic World, like in this statue. I'm like, Blue and Echo are like actually, like, Blue specifically wants to eat me.
So the line moves so fast.
Yeah.
You got quite a few rides on it. So did you get a good look at the different scenes with in the indoor queue with the launch track is?
So I was actually mad because I was like, every ride or every time I waited, you're like, oh, we're walking right through.
Yeah.
Until like the last ride where we got stuck there twice. And then I saw like 3 different. I didn't even know there were 3 different ones until I got stuck there.
Yeah.
I
was just wondering, because I know like a lot of times when we were riding this past week, it was just kept walking right past the launch. So
we're gonna hear me talk about this, but I don't know what parks need to do, but basically Universal needs to be the Bible for ops. Like, they need to be the foundation.
The operations at Universal are absolutely fantastic.
Every single ride, like, this is just not just Velocicoaster, every single ride, we're not stopping for more than a minute, it feels like. Unless they let us know after 5 minutes, which happened with us in Amazing Spider-Man, there's gonna be a delay.
Yeah.
Like, 5 minutes they let us know that. Sometimes it's 10-15, like, or they just say, screw it, we're gonna let people leave, and then we'll just open the ride again when we fix it. The transparency was great. So we get there and go through this amazing queue. The locker system. God, this is the first time I experienced Universal's locker system, man. It's so seamless. It's so good. So, I'm curious, really, though, the only issue I have is, like, what if someone doesn't really have, like, a secure pocket? They're like, hey, keep your ticket. Like, okay, but like I'm getting on Velocicoaster, bro. Like
they're gonna know which locker they had though, and the Nintendo can.
Yeah, and so I was wondering, like they probably have a protocol already because of Universal.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
so like you go through and it's double sided. You scan either your annual pass or your ticket or whatever, and you put your stuff in. That's it. You're done. You're good. And then, oh, what if I forget? There's so many lockers. Oh, you went to the wrong one? It'll tell you which one to go to immediately. Like, exactly which one to go to. It just did not feel like I was dealing with a theme park. And that was the most theme park.
Yeah.
I've been to this whole year, the past 2 years. Like, that's literally the quintessential, like, meaning of a theme park is Universal. And it just felt so seamless. Like, but Velocicoaster, the ride. Once you get on, the queue continues after the lockers, and it's still great. You have, like, I love the story of the, you're walking through the pre-show, and, like, you have two of the main characters from Jurassic World. I don't know their names. I only know one of them because she calls his name out. But
Claire and Owen.
Claire and Owen, where Owen's not happy about this at all. And, like, yeah, it's good, it's fun. And I like the quips between all of them.
Yeah.
And it moves so fast. Yeah, I at least only saw it 1.5 times by the time I would be in there. I wouldn't like see any repeats really. I would see it starting again, but by the time I would see the part that I was about to see again, it would already be like I'm about to get on the ride.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the new roller crest. It was unfortunate that at certain capacity points they cut it off. But I was able to get front row for the first ride on Velocicoaster. And so I did not realize how much taller up they are. Like, your feet are dangling compared to Pantheon.
Yeah.
And so they're similar, but yeah, that's really the main difference I noticed. And like I am able to sit up and get room, quote unquote, but the ops there do not want to give you any room. Let me tell you. So regardless, rollout and the build up.
Now, did you notice the Raptors running on the screens on the side too on the launch?
Yeah, I was like, you run up and then you see them already there, and then they launched like, because I wasn't paying attention for everything. I was just looking at the sides and I saw them with. Oh, this is so good. Yeah. And then I was not expecting the inversions to actually be really, really good.
That dive loop.
Like, both of them are just like, and you get forces like.
Yeah.
So it's the point where like I ride the bull. You know what I mean? Like, I had to hold my restraint up while I had my hands up so I still get the whip. Because like I just didn't want to have, because at the end of the first dive loop, push down. Second one back to Sidewinder, push down. I'm like, oh god. Well, I was not expecting this. So my second ride, I was definitely just riding the bull on that.
Yeah.
But wow. You go through all those near misses, all that theming. Then you go back into the second launch. I'm surprised it's an LSM sometimes. It's good.
It hits.
Yeah, it's actually
better than Storm Runner's launch.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
No.
Yes.
It really does not.
Velocicoaster's second launch is better than Storm Runner's launch.
It doesn't though. It's just it doesn't.
I don't want to hear it.
Hey. I'm gonna drink for this one. Okay, God, that really just threw me off.
Top hat.
Yeah, they both have top hats.
Yep. Velocicoaster's is better too.
Yeah, that one is better because it has a lap bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will go up the top hat. In the back, you get floater, and in the front, you get ejector, and then you get ejected on the going down in the back.
I was about to say, wait a minute.
No, and the going up.
Yeah.
On the front, you get ejector.
Yeah.
And then on the back, you get floater.
But you get ripped down too.
In the back, you get ejected in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same page. So,
and then you get absolutely whipped into the stall.
Yeah. So everything after that is just absolute ace, like intimate goodness.
Yes.
Like basically Universal said, "Hey, go wild,"
and they did.
or Universal, just go wild. Do your best crowd pleasers you can. Just go ham.
I mean, there's truly nothing better than sitting in the front row and just the interaction with the crowd as you're going in and around and over the people on the bridge.
Because everyone's always looking up. It's like taking pictures or whatever. Like, there's so many. I think I have to go back just to take more. Like, I would look back and see there's more I need to take and just look at this ride. Like,
I gotta send you all my Velocicoaster footage.
Oh, man. Like, Velocicoaster is the most aesthetically pleasing coaster in the world. But from there you go into the stall, which for me, stalls are one of my favorite elements on a coaster. I like hang time, I like whip, so you got me. Like, I do think Pantheon's is still slightly better though.
Disagree.
Just slightly better.
Disagree.
It has that length. Phrasing, but it has that length, man.
Disagree. Whip over length.
So you're submissive. But nah, after the stall, you go to banked low, and then you go into this outer banked airtime hill, which is the weirdest one I've felt. Because it almost feels like you're floating in like an axis of time. Like, you're not like thrown out like to the left, like Twisted, but you're almost like you're still definitely like ejected out of your
That's
seat.
where I snapped.
I would try to snap. I mean, I definitely got it there when I snap, but like alone, because I don't need to snap and Twisted. So it throws me alone. But
no, that's a great that element hits.
And then
you go into the Mosasaurus roll.
Oh, I forgot the wave turn. That's what I was missing. There's a wave turn on there. Because then you turn around, then you go into the outer bank, then you snap around a bank turn, a little speed hill, then the king of inversions. I almost want to say objectively it's better than the Death Roll just because of its placement. over the water.
Absolutely, it's better.
Like, but I like. It's one of the best finales, if not the best finale for a roller coaster. And just the amount of whip, the amount of floatiness. You're almost getting airtime. It's not just 0G. Like, that profiling is nutty on that. And you're going through it so fast. Like, I love just being on the right, throwing myself there, and then going up into the brake run, just letting myself hang on the side. Oh, that ride is phenomenal. That, like, just those two, so Gwazi and Velocicoaster alone, are like
two rides that are alone worth driving 12 hours or flying to.
Like, if they're just... Velocicoaster is the complete package, though. Like, you get the whole experience of...
Velocicoaster is not my number one, but it's my favorite roller coaster.
I don't know what my... I think...
Just like the theming, the immersion, the actual ride experience is my favorite roller coaster.
Like, that's one of the... I waited pretty long in that ride sometimes. I waited pretty long in that line sometimes, dude. Like, close to an hour and a half. And I still wasn't necessarily bored.
Yeah.
Like...
There's definitely some times it went down to 2 train operations, but for the most part, they were up on 4, which was nice.
So after that, after that, what did we?
We did Hagrid's.
I think so. You did Hagrid's. Yeah, you did Hagrid's. So
didn't you do Hagrid's?
You did the return time with your sister.
We did it later though.
Yeah, we did do it later. But how was your Hagrid's right then? I mean, you rode Hagrid's quite a bit.
So, good. Yeah.
Because we went explored a little more of Islands of Adventure. We went to the area with Poseidon's Fury and the fountain that talks, which was hilarious. The Mystic Fountain. I forgot what the name of that land is, but also with the Mythos restaurant too. We were trying to get a reservation there, but it's super hard, man.
Yeah,
super hard. But we ended up. What did we end up doing? We saw the old Sinbad building, the old Sinbad show right back there as well. It was really cool to look at. We ended up riding Jurassic River Adventure. After some Hulk, we went back there, which that was fun. There was one of the main, like, it was really sad when you first go into Jurassic Park. One of the main showpieces is the big brontosaurus that like sticks his head out, sprays water, and his head was like sunken in the water, like he was like like he just was not working.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh. But everything else was working.
Yeah.
But it was definitely dated. Because, yeah, it's been open.
When I wrote it in October, I think it was good.
But the T-Rex still looked great. They looked great there.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we got single rider laps on Hulk. And I am so happy that still holds up, man. That's one of my favorite B&Ms. That's actually a damn good B&M. Like,
I'm not sure where I have that B&M wise, but yeah. It's slightly better than Kumba.
I agree.
Incredible. I mean, the rides that I got on it was running just so fast.
Bro, like, the whip I actually got on the 0G roll out of the launch.
In the back right. That's the seat.
Oh, man. It's so good. It's so good. It shouldn't be as good as it is, honestly. And it just goes back.
There's some people that like have that in their top 10 with a lot of credits. Which I can sort of understand if they hit it when it's running that good.
I don't blame them. I mean, the whole thing, like, I'm going off the whole thing as a comic book nerd. I think the fact that I don't think Bruce would ever get a volunteer and test human people with being a Hulk, because generally that's just like, in actual lore, that just wouldn't make sense with what he would do. But this being a theme park and Universal and just saying we're having a good old time, and that is the theme, I think it's hilarious and great. Like, I am so with it. Become a Hulk. Every time, like, I hear across the midway, and I'm just like, I yell with it even though I can't hear it on the ride because the soundtrack's so damn loud and so good. And
it's
Hulk is incredible.
It's a gem.
It's incredible. Like, the name is fitting. Like, it was the Hulk, and then after a few years, and everyone realizing how amazing it is, it's the Incredible Hulk. Because, man, that's a B&M gem. I will say, it's up there, and it's actually such a good ride. So, yeah, we did we tried to do a few. We did Amazing Spider-Man 2 after that, and well, I don't know how that ride still holds up so damn well. Like,
it's amazing.
That is such a good ride. Like, I'm actually like, I like it up there with some roller coasters. I like it more than some roller coasters. Like,
I like that more than a lot of roller coasters.
It's so good. Like,
it's better than White Lightning, that's for sure.
Okay.
I would rather ride Spider-Man than White Lightning. 100%.
That's not fair. It's so good of a ride. Like, Amazing Spider-Man is so good of a ride.
So then you're basically saying if Amazing Spider-Man was a roller coaster, it'd be like in your top like 30 probably.
Yes, and White Lightning isn't in my top 30.
I mean, I think
it's still a good ride.
I guess it'd be pretty close, honestly.
White Lightning's still a good ride. It's just not my top 30.
Well, yeah, but that's the point, that Amazing Spider-Man's better than White Lightning. Bottom line. Fuck White Lightning.
White Lightning is, we're gonna get to that at the end, but it's not a bad ride in the slightest. Yeah, we did Hulk, we did Spider-Man. Universal, if you're gonna make more of those rides, just do another IP. I don't even care if it's Minions. Okay,
no,
I will ride it again.
No,
if you make it as
do
good,
not encourage that. Why would we want a third Minions ride?
I'm just saying, if you make a dark ride that immersive and that good as Spider-Man,
make it Mario.
Okay, make a Mario. Just do a ride just as good as Spider-Man. That's all I gotta say. Because I don't think there's a dark ride as good as Spider-Man that they have made ever since. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's actually thrilling. Like, it's actually thrilling. Oh my god, it's so good. So I think we hit Veloci again after that. No, we had Hagrid's.
Yeah.
Because I have stuff from us at Wizarding. I saw little bits. Because I think next time I'm going to really step into Wizarding World and all that stuff. And take the train over as well. But that theming, man. Holy shit.
Hagrid is incredible.
It's not even just Hagrid's, just Wizarding World. Just from stepping in, just in the one shot from we did there in the merch store, and looking at the Hogwarts Castle, the light show. Because, wow. It didn't feel like I was in a theme park anymore. It felt like I was literally transported somewhere else.
Okay, but the one thing about Hogsmeade and the islands is, isn't it so, it's so packed, like you feel like you're in the sardine can.
I mean, that's what we were. I don't even know if they can help that, because like do you see Hogsmeade in the movies?
Well, yeah, but like that's not.
Is it ever that crowded in the movies?
No.
Exactly. That's one thing I wonder. Well, that might ruin some people's immersion if they're nitpicking, but like, yeah, shopping was not the move. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of claustrophobic because they definitely made the shops feel like, oh, I'm definitely shopping in like the small, cozy, like this. One person owns this shop, you know, when like at Hogwarts.
It's not meant to have 35 people inside.
35 people pushing, like.
Yeah.
So, I could not imagine COVID, to be honest. So, like peak COVID, that would have been ridiculous.
Interestingly enough, my first visit in January, the mask mandate was still in effect at Universal, which was interesting.
I mean,
to like see where we're at now in December at Universal compared to what it was like then.
Not even a mention of it.
Yeah.
But we did get on Hagrid's with the return time, so I didn't get through any of the queue. To the very end of the queue. But we were kind of wondering exactly if we were going to be able to get on in time, because we were trying to get last ride on Velocicoaster as well. But Hagrid's, I was expecting to kind of be with it. I liked it a good bit. I like it a lot, actually.
Gavin
really,
thought
really
it was
good.
mid.
Yeah, then I don't know if there's a few enthusiasts with that opinion. I could probably see it if you don't care for the IP and you really aren't a big, you know, the forces really aren't doing anything for you.
Yeah, I'll be the first to agree that the forces aren't, you know, but for what it is, it's incredible.
I mean, I was still getting some whip. I don't know if it was Coach specific.
I think because I'm such a fan of the IP, I'm impartial. But like, it does a lot of very unique things. I mean, it is the most, you know, problematic roller coaster probably, and like technologically advanced.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Because
definitely
don't they consistently run like
though.
At least 4 or 6 trains on that?
7 at one time. I believe it's 7.
That's great. Wow. That's like up there with Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
And like you can't, and that's probably the reason why that route will have downtime sometimes, because if they mess up any of those blocks, everything goes down.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember hearing stuff about that with Expedition Everest. Like they have like literally like a 15-second or 20-second grace period of like where people can like basically mistakes for guests, or like they need to do something else besides just the blatant like protocol.
I believe El Toro Ryan has problematic roller coaster videos on both Hagrid's and Expedition Everest, actually. Gotta check them out.
I feel like that's why I heard it from, but I'm not sure.
The Hagrid's video is amazing. I'm pretty sure I've watched Everest too.
I mean, if you're a nerd for coasters and you're not looking at El Toro Ryan's like videos, at least it's problematic videos.
Yeah.
They're basically mini documentaries. Like,
yeah, they're incredibly well done.
Like I don't even know how we get some of the information. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
But Hagrid's is, I think, I like it a lot just because it gave Forces 4 family coaster to me, and it's like it does a lot. Now I do wish I could sit and almost look at some of the animatronics more, because like, what's the Cerberus called? What's the Cerberus pet's name? 3-headed dog.
Fluffy.
It's like I saw Fluffy for a second.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is an expensive animatronic. I saw for like a split second. Like
Universal Creative.
Well, I'm saying I wish I saw him longer almost.
Yeah.
So that type of stuff. But there was still a lot, like, that animatronic slowdowns. You got a reverse track. You got a, I'm not going to say, it's for some spoiler stuff, for some people that haven't been on it. Another surprise element that catches, at least I caught one of the people we were with off guard. But for all that it does, it's a fantastic ride. Like, I don't think it'll go any higher than where I have it. I don't think it's possible. It's just get an amazing, like, really faded ride.
It's recency bias.
But I think for what it is, and for being generally family based, it's probably the highest family ride I have, and I'm just gonna say it's comfy in my top 30. Like, it's like a super, super solid ride and fun, and we got a night ride, so it probably enhanced it too because of the headlights and everything as well.
I think I got a hot take. Hagrid's is better than Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster.
I feel like when you say it, it sounds hot, and then you really think about it, and it's not as hot.
Oh, I mean, I think that's hot for a lot of people.
Because, like,
I know if, like, James heard that, James and Timmy, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Where do they have Hagrid's?
I think they have it lower than I do, probably. And they've got Wonder Woman way higher.
When was the last time they rode Wonder Woman?
Maybe 2018?
Yeah, I'm like, apparently it's gotten way worse since then. It's like almost mind blower level. Like, in terms of, like, degradation. Not actually, but, like, it's basically since around when it opened till now, it's definitely aged. And I think it's also because it was one of the first in RMC found out that, like, that specific one, I think you were telling me that Jeffrey was, they found out that, like, that track is, like, not actually long enough.
Yeah.
So it's affecting the ride. Yeah. We're talking about Fiesta, Texas now. Then we ended up getting off of Hagrid's. Great ride. And going over to a better ride. Finished off the night with Velocicoaster. Night ride. Man. So, I noticed it looking at the footage now. I didn't notice it when we were there. The whole time we were there, the trains weren't running with any lights on.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I noticed that in October and August. Like, and then some of them, if they do have lights, it's not the correct lights. Like, it's lit up, but it's not, the solid cyan color that it's supposed to be. It's like, I've seen, like, multicolor and other problems. So.
Damn. So, I mean, that's what we were saying earlier when I was talking about Manta. Like, it's hard to keep a lot of...
It's interesting to see that they haven't really kept up with the trains.
I mean, it's a really big part of the ride at night, too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that ride runs literally all the time with so many people. How are you gonna... when do you have the time?
I'm sure it's not easy.
To go ahead and fix it, I guess. But the night ride, I got back right, I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I got back right, because you guys waited for the front. There was a little line of that last night. No. We got middle rows, I think.
Oh.
I think that was... Yeah, because we're all getting middle, and you guys got, like, 3, and we got, like, 4 or 5.
You got 6.
Yeah,
you got 6. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. But, like we said, no bad... That's when it confirmed it to me, though. There was no bad row on Velocicoaster, because my only rides before were front and back.
Yeah.
And I still was like, holy shit. Like, so, man, Man, Velocicoaster. We ended off the night with a great way. Did we went to Hot Dog Grill after? Hot Dog All-Star Grill or whatever what it was called.
Was that the first night? Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because...
Hot Dog Hall of Fame on City Walk.
Yeah, Hot Dog Hall of Fame. Because we got that and waited basically 45 minutes for hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I wanted like a little better. It was okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't super impressed.
But I did not know there was so many Universal enthusiasts specifically for the shows in their parks. Older ones. We had like 2 of them. And you saw one of them where he was telling us very adamantly about 5 p.m. Watch the Macy's parade for about 45 minutes in that in a hot dog line. Oh man, did I just want to get a hot dog so bad. But no, that first night was fun. It was fine. We were trying to hit some pinball and stuff after, but unfortunately,
Tired, bruh.
yeah, things just didn't line up. And the place closed in like a few minutes. Like we only had like 30 minutes for pinball. So just rested up and smoked. Yeah, we did. We did smoke that night. Got smoked that night 2 J's. Then uni day 2, at least for me. And you went a 3rd day after. But.
Yeah.
You guys went there a little earlier. You guys got the rope drop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were there. We were already tripping for 3 days.
We did.
We
stayed. We opened with Studio Side that day.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Yeah, we came in around like 11 because we were just tired. We were already tripping. We're already going early mornings since Thursday. So we're just like, let's just have a moment. Take this, get a nice breakfast, that place, the Claremont, actually has a bussin' breakfast place.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's so good. It's actually so good. Definitely to try next time. Yeah, we hit Universal Studio Side first as well.
Yeah.
But
We started and we rope dropped Mummy because I actually hadn't ridden it since 2015.
that was before renovation.
I've been... I guess it was open during Horror Nights, but we just didn't... Or maybe it wasn't. I think we might have missed it. But we just didn't get on it. But we got and rope dropped it, and it was super fun.
Yeah, I didn't realize how good it was until I got on it again. I loved everything about it. Like, I'm not the biggest Mummy fan. In fact, like, there hasn't been a Mummy film literally in almost a decade, maybe more. I don't know when the Jet Li one came out, or the one with Jet Li as a villain. But it was kind of uncanny seeing young Brendan Fraser and all that stuff.
Did you get to check out the Studios store, tribute store next to Mummy? Your Mummy?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god.
Maybe we walked through, but I don't remember that. I feel like I would have.
Yeah. Shoot.
Because like right after we walked out, we saw the Blues Brothers performing. And you're like, oh shit, that's cool. We chilled to them for a bit. Walked by, what did we do? Oh, I think we just got Fast and the Furious out of the way after.
Oh.
Or did we?
Did you get Gringotts?
No, we did not get Gringotts.
Oh.
Because we were, really weren't focused on Wizarding World this time. We weren't focusing on it, we're focusing on it the next time we go. So that we had, because, God, there is so much to do at Universal. There is so much to do if you actually are trying to do everything. Ugh.
Yeah.
Man, like, so people scoff at the price, and then I'm like, no, I kind of get it. Like, there is a lot to do, and you're getting great guest service.
Makes the annual pass super worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, afterwards we did. So for Mummy, we did Fast and the Furious. Shit post 1 out of the 2 shit posts in the park for me. Cause man, oh man, that might be one of the worst theme park attractions I've ever experienced. the people were kind of funny. The first lady was funny. The second guy wasn't as funny. And then, like, in the pre-shows that they have were...
Yeah. I've gotten some people that have been seriously just so unfunny. Like, everyone's just, like, derp face at them. It's just, like, crazy. I was just like, damn, that's awkward, bro.
And then now, we get to the ride, and I kind of just can't believe Universal was this lazy at one point. Because you're literally just going in a straight line, looking at a screen from left to right, while it's somewhat shaking. Like, no. No, it's so bad. Like, I was so unimpressed. I was so just unamused. This is the other spectrum. There's almost not enough adjectives to think of how bad the ride is. Just, it's almost not even funny how bad it was. Like, not even family could save that ride. Not even the power of family, bro. There were a few rides I feel like Shrek could have stayed before that ride. Like, God, not a fan. I don't think there really is anyone that is a true fan. More so people that are a fan of how bad it is. It was like they're for it and with it.
It's terrible.
So after that, we ended up seeing... I don't know if you ever saw this live performance before. The Beat Builders.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
were by the Starbucks, right?
Yeah, they just randomly started going and had a little bit of holiday stuff as well. But yeah, the first time I saw them, and that was great. Someone who was in marching band also. I'm also like percussion and just a big fan of improv percussion. So I'm a big Blue Man Group fan. Yeah, that was great just to walk into. It was a like 10-15 minute show. From there we went to Transformers, and I was pretty impressed with the teaming and stuff. A lot of interactables for kids to touch and play with, but it's a worse Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. You know, like,
very fast paced. You don't really. The scenes aren't very good.
No, that, and like it feels like they use effects and for the first half, and then they just forget about them.
Yeah.
Like, I got water splattered on me, and then it just never happened again. Like after the first third.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, it's fast paced like Spider-Man, but like
Spider-Man has a way better storyline.
Yeah, like, yeah, Spider-Man's so good. From there, I think we went over to close to Simpsons. Oh yeah, we saw the Blues Brothers walking by. They're driving by, and I don't know what they're called, the Blues Brothers mobile. They're kind of not in in media anymore, so excuse me. But yeah, we went to Simpsons, and that definitely did not hit like I remembered. Simpsons is very mid.
I got a ride on it too, and it's really just not good.
It's very just.
It's just.
I was
okay.
lukewarm walking out of the ride, because I remember waiting like 45 minutes back when it first opened and all that stuff, like 2009 or 10 or whatever, and then now I'm just like, jeez, just rip it out. Almost, it's like, I don't mind the story or anything. It's the ride.
Yeah.
Like, it's the ride itself.
I'm not really a big fan of those like vehicles. And
yeah,
like what it does.
It feels like a really mid Star Tours.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a similar ride vehicle as well. From there, I'm kind of shocked, really, with how, I guess they didn't feel the need to expand on it, but I just feel like Springfield should have just been more. Almost. Like, Simpsons is such a big IP, and they kept it the same size.
I mean, it's kind of getting outdated, though.
Well, that's the reason why I say I'm surprised they have never touched it since.
I imagine it's something that could get scrapped, you know?
I'm kind of hoping it does soon, because when you look at Universal, it kind of looks bad.
Yeah.
Like, comparatively. So, from there... Oh, I got a Duff beer. Because I was like, might as well get the novelty. I feel like they made it way better than what it should taste. Because, honestly, it was really, really good. It was a really good amber ale lager. And not too heavy. It was great. I walked past Woody Woodpeckers after that. I didn't know it was closing soon. I would have got on it if I would have known. Because I think it just went down and then it just came back up because there was no line at all. But I cared so little about kitty credits. I just didn't care. I was enjoying the park. And I think we're trying to go to Iowa after. We're trying to see what else we could hit. Which, I think after that was just Rip Ride Rocket. Which, yes, it was. And that is shitpost number 2 in the park for me because there are people that find it okay. There's people that even have it pretty damn high. Which is wrong. About 70 places higher than Steel Vengeance. But my ride was very, very not even mid. It was just for being the tallest ride in the establishment, in the resort. I got nothing. The music is just
not much of a
gimmick.
Rip Ride Rocket fan, but I do disagree. I definitely get airtime and positives on that.
The best way to describe the first drop is getting on a slide at a playground. Because that's what I felt. No airtime. I was kind of thrown around, but it wasn't really anything thrilling. It was just there. It kept getting stopped. I don't know the secret code song, so I got all these default songs I don't care about. They're just outdated. I'm just not a fan. Just not. I don't see the funniness in it or even the gimmick unless I get the song codes for the secret songs.
It's about as good. It's a little better than White Lightning.
It's not better than White Lightning. White Lightning shits all over Rip Ride Rocket. I'll stand on that. White Lightning is White Lightning is literally twice the coaster that Rip Ride Rocket would ever be.
Rip Ride Rocket's a little better than White Lightning.
But from there, we went back in the Iowa because we're not a fan. And you know what? Honestly, we were not that impressed with the Universal Studios. The rides, I can see why people, if you're going based off of Universal Studios and the Disney parks all together, which is not even fair, but people will do that because dark rides, screen-based rides.
Just wait. Epic Universe.
We'll see if they really can improve, but I do think that's one thing they should work on. They got coasters down. That's obvious. Let's see if they can really make a good screen-based and dark ride attraction. Because the next ride we did, was Reign of Kong. Skull Island. Or Skull Island, Reign of Kong. Whatever you, I think it's the latter. But that was just okay too. The main part I was a big fan of because it's really similar to. It's very similar to Fast and the Furious, except you're actually getting decent scenes and you're actually getting movement.
Yeah.
In it, but this vehicle is exactly the same. The same.
Kong is definitely better than Fast and Furious.
I really, really like the callback to Confrontation in Universal Studios. With King Kong at the end with that massive animatronic of his torso.
I was wondering what you thought about that.
Because at Universal, I don't know if anyone that isn't hip, there was an old Confrontation attraction where it used to be King Kong terrorizing New York, and you would be held on this old skylift and be basically tossed by him and held up in the air by this big King Kong animatronic. And that's essentially the same. You're not held up by him, but you're saved by him in the ride. And you see him this massive animatronic in front of you, just looking at you and screams at the very end. Yeah, that was great. I wish I could see just a tiny more emotion like Expedition Everest Yeti, but I loved it. That was the main reason I would ride it again. And even then, I feel after my second ride, I'd be I'm good. I think Velocicoaster, we were just heading up Velocicoaster after that. Yeah, because we did Uni at the beginning. Then it was Velocicoaster for the rest of the day. Because Universal closed at 7 that night, so.
Then we went to Buc-ee's.
Yes, we got back, smoked up, chilled a bit, and went to Buc-ee's. And that was my first experience, but like I said, I'm literally repping for the third time all Buc-ee's merch, Buc-ee beanie, a Buc-ee's hoodie, and I would be wearing a Buc-ee's blanket as a cape. I do think that might be one of my favorite things about Buc-ee's though is the merch. The food is great, don't get it wrong, but this hoodie is so damn comfortable, and this beanie, I love the beanie, man.
And the hoodie's like $22.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know. It's very stoner wear. I fuck with it. Yeah, I had the chopped brisket. This is all I really needed because I had it before, and that was slapped. I'm a brisket lover though, so I'll take brisket almost any day. Let's see. Yeah, we got a picture in front of the Buc-ee statue too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw you were basically going on a shopping spree at Buc-ee's at one point.
Yeah.
But that ended uni day 2, and then the next day I was gonna be flying, or I did fly out, but I tried to get at least 2 more credits, or at least up to 4 more credits before heading out. But unfortunately, on weekdays, fun spots open up at 2, and our flights. We had to drive over rental, and our flight was leaving around 6, so we're like, okay, we can only really hit 1 here. So we decided, since it was the closest one, to head to Fun Spot Orlando and head Freedom Flyer and White Lightning. Now, while you were doing that, you were at Epcot.
Yes,
at Disney Park for the very first time.
Over Disney.
Yeah, and the very first. Well, you've been to Magic Kingdom.
So I went to Magic Kingdom when I was like a child, but this is like that was my first Disney experience, and it went well. We were extremely tired.
Yeah,
but it went super well, and that is all thanks to my sister who did all the planning.
Yeah, that's one thing you definitely have to plan for a Disney day, because
that actually, it was such a good visit that I do want to visit the other Florida Disney parks, along with Disneyland and California Adventure.
You think you would really like Animal Kingdom, or even Disneyland, obviously. To me, talks it up enough, but the novelty and that being the original for the rest of the parks.
So I mean, Epcot, we got there for rope drop, and we went straight to Frozen Ever After, which it's like a little intimate boat ride, pretty much.
Oh yeah, it used to be a Maelstrom.
Yeah, and I guess that was in Norway.
Yeah,
and that was I mean, the posted wait time was 65 minutes, and we got on in 30.
Okay.
So off the bat, I was very impressed, and I was like, wow. And after that, we did, I want to say, Mission Space.
I am personally a big fan of.
And we did the Mars side, and I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, it's one of the most forceful rides, on the market.
Really awesome.
There's never really a wait for it either because of that.
Yeah,
that's what's funny.
Yeah.
But you can only ride it so much because it does what it does.
And we did some of the smaller experiences and stuff. We did Spaceship Earth, which was put me to sleep.
Yeah,
it's a history lesson. We did Figment, which I found to be super fun.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was
journey into imagination.
It was it'd be a funny faded ride.
Oh, it was were you just baits in it? That's why.
I was just kind of geeked. I was just this is a meme.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of but
yeah. I was just kind of laughing at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all I can imagine I would be doing. I'd be like, ugh, just get rid of him.
And we did Soarin', which was, I thought it was pretty mid.
I hear is it Soarin' over? Is it just Soarin'?
Soarin' is Soarin' around the world.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I thought it was pretty mid.
I heard Soarin' over California is not better either.
Yeah, so I was why? I don't know. I thought it was quite mid.
I thought it was not great, and I rode that back in 2012, in 2009. I was never really a fan of it.
Like we had park completion by 3 o'clock, so we did test track, and I thought that was mid as well, actually.
Well, I'm not a fan of the overlay that they did. I was a fan when it was actually like you went through a factory, you were like a crash test dummy, and you really learn about like the inner workings of like making a car and all that stuff.
Yeah,
now you make your own car and you excel in certain areas, which it doesn't really matter, and it's a very mid experience.
I wasn't really satisfied at all.
Yeah, like I don't skip test track, but I definitely miss what the experience used to be when I go on test track now.
I don't remember what order we did. Let me check.
But after test track, I'm assuming that might be close to the Guardians right now. Now I'm thinking of the layout.
Other than like the other like small stuff, then we went for Remy's.
You actually said you were very impressed with it.
I was. The theming was great. Just starting in the queue, and again, this is something that it had been a long wait all day, and we were gonna have to wait in the standby for it. So it was like 100 minutes all day, and we went when it said 65, and again, it took us like 40. So throughout the day, I found that the operations and people eating at Disney, or at least at Epcot, was fantastic. I was like extremely impressed.
That's really good.
I was impressed with my guest satisfaction as well. Dining, shopping, all of that.
Yeah, where'd you guys eat? Did you do any World Showcase eating?
No.
I mean, it gets expensive too.
We ended up just eating at like the dining hall by the gigantic merch store and stuff.
Yeah, I think
which was still like good park food. But after that, we got 2 rides on Cosmic Rewind, which it's on the Christmas overlay right now. But I went into it blind. I had no idea what to expect, but I was just told row 9 was the best row. So
I didn't even know there was a best row.
Yeah. I don't really want to spoil anything, but row 9 is definitely the best row. Not going to spoil anything. If you know, you know.
Can you request rows or?
Yes, they do honor row requests, which was again another just pleasant surprise. And the theming is amazing. I loved the holiday overlay. And the ride itself, it's not, the most forceful ride, but it's, right there with Hagrid's. It is a very good ride.
Interesting.
So we got there at like 8 a.m. and we were literally done with everything and got 2 Cosmic Rewind rides by like 4:30.
That's crazy.
So then we booked it out, got in the rental, went straight to Universal, parked, and got 3 Velocicoaster rides that night, and Universal closed at 7.
So did you get a return time and then wait in line and then go in the...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then wait one more time after the return
Well, actually, we waited, and then it was quick enough, we waited again, and then went with the return time for the 3rd one. So, it was a very tiring day.
Yeah.
Doing Disney and Universal.
I mean, standing in a Velocicoaster line.
Yeah.
That's all you guys did. That's crazy. Like, I can't imagine days where you find it less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you're walking basically up to the statue.
To the lockers.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the lockers.
That's great. Jesus. Yeah, that's just a lot to think about, man.
And then Tuesday, we were flying home, but we went to Universal in the morning, and I think we got 5 more Velocicoaster rides, another Hagrid ride, Hulk, Forbidden Journey,
dude,
more Moe's on City Walk.
Man, I'm a big fan of Moe's too.
Yeah, it slaps.
Now, I don't get it too often because I have one pretty close to me, but
yeah,
you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so you had Epcot on my last day in Florida, where I was about to fly out, so I decided to go to White Lightning. Where I also ran into Pam, who was just ironically marathoning it. She was at Universal just a few hours before it too, but she was about to fly out like an hour before us. So, oh, I'm a GCI fan, so I'm gonna ride a GCI.
Pam is a big GCI fan.
And I was really impressed. I'm glad you appreciate this ride, Pam, because this ride is a good ride. It's not the most amazing ride, but for what it is, a 70-foot tall GCI, it's good. Damn better than Invader. I can show you the video of the lats, bro. I'm flying.
It's about as good as Invader.
It's not. Pam would also disagree. I'm gonna send this clip to Pam and see if she agrees or not, because she was saying otherwise. We were saying Vader is completely not even. It's in its own level of just bad.
Grizzly at King's Dominion is better than White Lightning.
Where do I have Grizzly, actually? I know I have it in a pretty head-ass spot for, you know. Where do I have...
There's a Woody 45 minutes away that absolutely craps all over White Lightning.
Wild One doesn't count, so... Wild One is
Gotta show
the best
Wild One.
MV.
Gotta show the love of Wild One.
But White Lightning I liked. Like I said, it doesn't do anything spectacular, but for a fun spot, it's great. And then I say that, then they're getting Air Force One and Fun Spot Atlanta. But for the size that it was,
and Mind Blower exists for now, at least.
Yeah, for now. Mind Blower's I think 10 feet taller though.
Whole lot better. 10 times better.
Some people would disagree with that completely too.
I know a lot.
But that's where my trip ended up, because I got a few marathons to talk with Pam there, and got some shots of White Lightning, and then dropped the rental off and flew back to cold Virginia, where the Buc-ee's hoodie and beanie definitely came in clutch, because I feel like it would have been worse if I didn't have exactly that gear, because I don't even wear beanies like I used to, but I'm trying to get back into them. But just, God, that's one reason why to just go to Florida, get away from the cold. God.
Well, and come right back.
Yeah. So how was your? That was the 5 rides in one with you and Jordan. No.
That was great. We got 5 front row rides.
Wow.
On Velocicoaster that day, and they were hitting. And then I believe our Haggards, we got a row 3. But again, that's just a lot of fun. And honestly, the Hulk ride that we got gave me a headache.
Which row did you get?
I believe
because that's so funny, because that's what happened to Gavin, and someone else
2.
behind. Because someone else behind me when I rode on the last day was saying, "Oh, that was rough."
I believe we were row 2, and I found it was banging me around.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because Gavin said the day before he gave him a headache, so. Yeah. But he was in row 5, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just, for some reason, I found it just kicked me around. Yeah. Before the flight. Gave me a headache.
Might also just been the riding consistently. Just riding all this different shit.
Yeah.
Who knows, though. Basically, that was Florida. At least for me, I have, by the time any more is said about Florida, I have been home. I am sad looking at computer screens again. But otherwise, we both made it back.
Back to the cold.
We're both looking to go down again, because Florida they're clearly one of the hot spots for coasters. Like when it comes to top 10 or just top 30, it's just They have such a good... You can just name so many that are just excellent coasters.
There's 2 that alone are worth the 12-hour
These are
drive,
insane.
2-hour flight.
Like,
Gwazi and Velocicoaster.
oh man, it's crazy to think like coasters that good can exist. To be honest, like, man, especially with just the thought went into Velocicoaster, just
Incredible.
but that's it. This has been the longest cast. It didn't even feel like it until I looked at the time. We're getting close to the 3-hour mark. We're getting close to Avatar: The Way of the Water.
If you made it this far,
Yeah. If you made it this far, then definitely give us a follow on here, whether that being YouTube if you're listening, or Spotify if you're listening.
you can find us on all platforms.
And definitely tune in next week, because we're going to be going with our New Year's episode where we're covering our rankings, hot takes, maybe even have invasions from potential Discord callers, who knows.
Yeah.
And potentially we'll ask you guys stuff if you follow our socials. Or your hot takes or your opinions, who knows. But
Yeah.
go ahead and follow us at the High Rollers DMV on Instagram, and obviously YouTube and Spotify. But you can also follow me at West Tower Coasters on Instagram, and West Tower C on Twitter, and West Tower, obviously, if you're looking at the podcast on YouTube, that same channel. You can follow RC.
You can find me on Instagram at Oldline Airtime.
Sir. And man, let's see how much news comes out from now and King's Minions fireworks show, because that's probably in the next time.
Yeah.
Next time we're recording one of these. But y'all, if you made it this far, keep it easy. Thank you for being a homie. Catch you in the next one. Stay kind.
Peace.